Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to costumeco. Thanks so much for being here. And tonight we're going to talk about Shogun. Woohoo! Episode 4, and maybe we'll do a little review of what we've watched so far. And tonight with me, I'm going to start with Tanya actually, because I haven't seen Tanya. I haven't seen you in ages. Maybe the last time I saw you was Peacemaker. Is it something like that?
Oh my gosh, it might have.
Oh God, has it been that long?
No, I don't think it's been that long. But so Tanya, how are you doing?
I'm hanging in there, trying not to be driven
everyone's
crazy by
we're doing a little
people.
bit of a later. We moved the stream a little later, which I think worked out well for everybody because everyone had things they're doing.
Yes.
So we're gonna have to take a few minutes to just kind of ease in. My other guest is Alicia. She is actually what do you call him? Frozen Zero?
Sub-Zero.
Sub-Zero.
Sub-Zero. I'm the mom here. I'm not with the lingo, right? So last night I was trying to use my snappy, kid terms, but it was really embarrassing.
Well, Mortal Kombat's so old now that like you're a boomer if you know it. You know what I mean?
Okay,
Like,
all
I
right,
feel
all
like,
right.
I don't know. I don't even know how it goes.
That depends on which version you're
exactly.
referencing.
Yeah, obviously.
Sub-Zero wins, says Carl.
So-
And
yep.
Justin Thomas, woohoo's in the house. See, that's how old I am.
We were going to talk about this. What is this? A television show, right? I'm looking it up.
All
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
And I'm Heidi. Everyone, I think you guys know me. So anyway, we're going to talk about Shogun. What was the episode called again? Something about a fence.
The Eightfold Fence.
I don't remember.
Eightfold Fence.
Yeah.
So have you heard that story before?
It's a poem, I believe, right?
Negative.
It's a poem. Yeah. I hadn't heard of it. I just want to say hello to, we got Carl's here, Raven's Oath, Stephanie. Hello, Stephanie. So as people are coming in, we're, so there might be some spoilers. We probably will have a few about tonight. I think we will have spoilers. There's no getting around it.
All spoilers.
So what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to start with Tanya because Justin, actually last week I had David on. And then the week before that, I had Alicia and Justin on. And so we sort of did our review of the first 2 episodes. And then last week I did the first
We're
3
all sick of
episodes.
each other. You can say
So
over it.
what I
Let's
thought we would
Tanya in
do is maybe Tanya could just kind of give her like sort of little brief overview of what her thoughts are so far of the first 4 episodes. And then maybe I can go to Justin and then Alicia. And then we'll dig into this episode. Okay. Episode 4. Hi, Stephanie.
So, I have heard of Shogun in the past, but I've never gotten into it. So this is all new to me. The actor whose name I can't recall, Sub-Zero, I just will watch anything that he's in. And so when I saw that there's a show, I didn't even know what I was getting into. I just dived in, and so far I've really liked it. When it started, I wasn't sure if it was like a fantasy show or a historical drama. Like I had no idea. So it's fun. It's different from what I'm normally watching, but I've been enjoying it a lot.
Yeah, it's sort of it's historical, but it's fictional. It's a fictional historical story, but it's also it is based on real people in the way a lot of fictional stories are. So so Tanya, I saw that she was tweeting about it. So I was like, Tanya, I want to come on.
Yeah, I was looking up. What I was doing was I was looking up the episode and then like looking up who each person's based on and then like reading about it. And then it was just, those Wikipedia wormholes, how those start. So yeah, that's why I was up late tweeting about it.
Yeah. And then I kept bugging people. I'm like, you going to watch this show? Are you going to watch this show? Are you guys watching this show? And like Tony Teflon, who's coming on next week, I was like, Tony, you going to watch this show? And he's like, oh, I don't know anything about it. But I don't know.
Mickey's going to watch it.
He's very, and then I saw and I was like, dude, you're watching it. Stephanie says, I've read the book and watched the first series. I haven't seen this one yet. Okay. Well, you will be pleasantly surprised. It's so good. Okay. What about you, Justin? Impressions.
Episode. So I haven't been on since episode 1 and 2 aired. So I was all in on episode. I want to say right up front that this is a series that I think has had a lot of effort put into it, and they've handled this with good hands per se. Like this is a nice production to see because it's not Game of Thrones. And I know it's they probably figured it's going to be a Game of Thrones, but it's nice to see productions that aren't like a spin-off or something getting a lot of attention and money spent and, attention to just like the detail and trying to be as authentic as possible and tell the best story. So loving it so far. Episode 3 took me back and get into it. a little bit later. Like there was just a few things I'm gonna nitpick about it. It has to do with some of the action. Some of it's really good, some of it's really bad in my opinion. But episode 4 brought me back around because I think that the sentiment of this story is really beautiful, and it's wide. It's high concept. You know, it's pretty much just about how we act every day of our lives. It's the philosophy of how to handle yourself in life, pretty much. We're seeing different approaches to it, especially in this last episode. So liking it.
Yeah. I want to say hello. Did I say hello to Raven's Oath? If I didn't, I apologize. So we're going to dig more into that. We talked a bit about it last night, but people might have not been there last night. So we'll have to probably review a few things that we mentioned last night. So what about you, Alicia? First 4 episodes. Have you seen all 4?
I have seen all 4, and they are all spectacular. Everything I think for specifically the episode we're covering here for episode 4, there was a lot going on, but I liked all of the bits that were in there. Some things I think were a tiny tad bit predictable, but how they're weaving the story is looking really cool. Hey, Stephanie. And I'm just looking forward to seeing what else comes. And I am a little bit miffed that they kind of stiffed us on the Mariko origin story that we all said we need immediately last night. They started telling it, but then they didn't, and 1 point from Gryffindor for that.
Yeah, they pulled a to be continued.
Yeah. Can I ask Alicia? Carl's asking how you're doing the face swap. Would you mind if I give him the link?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so Carl, I'm going to put it in the chat here.
Yeah, what it will do is ask you for your picture, which like whatever angle your face is going to be in, to what you want it to go to. Put in both of those, and then it'll do a swap.
No, I was telling Alicia before we went on, like, I can't believe how natural that looks. But I think partly it's because your face is sort of in the right angle as well, and you're looking to the side. So you make a very good samurai. All right, so what should we talk about first? There's so much.
Have you talked about the fake Portuguese?
We did. You want to talk
the languages?
We can review that again. It's not a problem.
Let's hear your thoughts on it, Tanya.
So give us your thoughts on that.
I started watching it and I was like, why do they keep saying Portuguese? And then I was like, are we supposed to be pretending every time they speak English that they're speaking Portuguese? Like, that's what's happening, right?
Not always. It's like Portuguese, Dutch, and I think there's another I'll say Caucasianal language.
Did we say that John is speaking? He's speaking Dutch, I think, right?
No, he's speaking English, and he's speaking
English.
Yeah. Because his crew is they a lot of them speak Dutch because that's where their ship came from.
So
but when he's speaking to Mariko, he's supposed to be speaking Portuguese, right? Because at one point he tells her Portuguese is really good.
Yeah. So my thought on this is I went through this last night, and now they took great care to like translate all of this into Japanese. So like it's very important to have that Japanese be authentic, but the Westerners, they've decided to go in English, and I have no issue with it because it would just be more confusing. It's the outside looking in on the Japanese culture. So yes, they have made the Portuguese speak English. It's just like the Westerners are all going to speak English to just make that a little bit more simple. And because I think it would hurt the immersion if we also had the separate and language of Portuguese too. I don't think it would work as well. They really want us to be looking at the Japanese culture. That's the focus of the show. So it's like, I think it works, and it's like, you can nitpick it, and you can not like whatever you like. I don't think it's a stupid thing not to like. It's a fair point. I don't mind it. I think it's well done. I think that it's done with a purpose. It's not just done because they're lazy. They're doing it for the story's sake.
I feel like it's done because we're lazy.
Yeah. No. Not in my opinion.
I personally think it's like one of those things you make it like, I think as long as you make a decision, like a design decision, if you make that decision and then you follow through and you carry it through, I think what might have been a problem is if it was, inconsistent. But Tanya, did you find it took you out of the story at all when you were watching it, or just make you go, that's weird?
It just left me confused at first.
Okay.
Because like, I kept thinking to myself, wait a minute, what language is she supposed to be speaking? Because they kept talking about the Portuguese. And at first, on my first watch, I was like waiting to meet the Portuguese. And then I realized, oh, wait, no, these are supposed to be the Portuguese. And it just kind of, it did take me out the story a little bit. And, you know, and it was when he told Mariko, it was when he told her Portuguese was really good that I was like, wait, am I supposed to be pretending?
Yeah, no, that's a point where it becomes difficult. But like, have you ever seen Vikings, Tanya?
Long time ago, yeah.
The way they handled stuff, because they spoke like old Norse in this and Saxon, like old English and stuff like that. Like, you know, because we want to get technical, we can make them speak the English of 1600s, which we wouldn't also understand. So like, you know, it's not really an authentic thing in my opinion. But in Vikings, what they would do is they would speak like a few lines in Norse, and then they would go to English to like, so they would establish for what you're talking about in a scene, like what they're supposed to be. So you would know that they're supposed to be speaking something different because they would have done it initially and show that there was a problem with these people communicating, but then they go to English because it's just too many things to subtitle. It gets to a point where you're going to lose the story for the yearning to be so authentic, you know, in my opinion. So
There's
I think
a lot
that's
of folks that
messier.
don't like reading subtitles either.
Yeah,
I don't mind it.
There was a show that came out last year called 1899, and they did all the languages. Like they had a completely multi, you know, like universal cast, but the show didn't get picked up. So I don't know. It only did one season. I don't know. I think it is. I think especially with American audiences, I think, or Western audiences, I think they're probably trying to find that middle ground. Like I don't really fault the showrunners too much for it. Like especially after the first episode, I completely forgot about it after the first episode. What about you guys?
A lot of time was taken to writing the script and then translating all of it to proper Japanese and having to change around so that would be authentic. So like that you had to take in that workload as well. You know, like there's only so much time too. Like, but I even if they had all the time in the world, which nobody does, I'm sticking with my point of I think that it's the best thing for the story because they understand each other. Those Westerners understand each other. That's what's important. So they're speaking a universal language because he does speak Portuguese. You know what I mean? So like he can understand.
Right, but like his crew, I don't like. Does his crew speak?
We
Portuguese?
don't know. They're Dutch because he's an Englishman on Dutch. We don't know anything about those guys, to be fair.
Because I remember being confused as to whether or not his crew could understand what was supposed to be Portuguese. Like I don't know. I just
Captain
kind of got lost.
Spoke English though. Just remember the captain.
Yeah. I agree with Tanya though. I think that the crew was not really. I went over this as well. I'm sorry. I'm going to give all these things out. So I'm really not because I've considered them too. And my opinion on that is I do think that they had to make the decision, unfortunately, to rush the ship stuff, Tanya. And I agree with you that I don't know much about them. I think a lot of people were confused because it was an Englishman on a Dutch ship. This is because this is, you know, during the time when the Protestant nations are coming together. You know, England and you know. The Protestant, you know, German, Dutch, all those people. What is it? It's not the 30 Years' War. It's 100 years. It's not the 100. It's one of the wars that they have over there. So it's you know, they're all fighting together. It's when England. It's right after the Spanish, like the Armada comes. Like this is like 50 years after that. So like this is still Protestant first Catholic. So it's like it's kind of confusing because he's an Englishman on a Dutch ship. So like we're not clear.
So like, I didn't catch that part. I
don't think they told us, to be honest.
Oh, okay, because I didn't know that. I thought they were.
It's hard enough to know these. I mean, that'd be one complaint about this series, and it's kind of from my Western ignorance. It's very hard for me to distinguish people sometimes. I mean, I'll just be honest about it. It's hard, you know what I mean, for me to keep up with the characters' names because they're not familiar names for me. But that's good. You know, it's a good series to watch, but it's difficult. I think it comes with its own difficulty. I don't think we need to make it harder.
But one of the things we talked about though early on is that I think we're supposed to be looking at this through the lens of like John Blackthorne, and so he's thrust into this culture. Like for instance, he put Sama on the end of someone's name. She's like, no, you don't do that. He's like a gardener. Oh, sorry. Or, you know, like we were chatting last night, how he's stepping on moss and she's like, what are you doing? That's totally disrespectful. You don't step on moss. So, you know, I think we're supposed to be a bit confused, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think, guys?
I think that checks for the overall story because for everyone else outside of the Portuguese, for everyone else, this is their first experience of anything in Japan, or the Japans, as the Blackthorne calls them. But for the Portuguese, they've been there for the past 40, 50 years already. So a lot of them are looking at this like they don't really know what to make of these people. So I think that's the lens that they're keeping it in, like just like how he's experiencing all this as something new, we're looking at it through that lens as well, if that makes sense.
Carl brings up a point here, as Carl will from time to time. I call Carl Wikipedia. So
Don't
now
listen to him, Carl.
so the Latin thing I would more agree. Now we're just gonna be, like really picking things to pieces here, but French would be mostly the thing. I doubt that, okay, maybe Blackthorne would speak a little bit of Latin, but he definitely probably speaks some French. This is at the time after King Henry VIII. This is after Elizabeth. This is during the Stuart reign. This is a time where English was the commonly spoke language.
Yeah,
The first,
Latin isn't
king
so
to,
big anymore.
Yeah, the first king to speak English, I believe, was Henry V. I think. But yeah, it took a while, but that's the 1300s. So yeah, we're there. But it's right. It's like, we're trying to look at Japan's culture from the outside in. This is the fish out of the water. All these people are fish out of waters here. But I think that Tanya does bring up a good point, because I think that some people might not be distinguishing enough away from the Spanish and the Portuguese and stuff like that, because there is differences with that. And it is, again, I think that it is a semi-confusing show because it doesn't hold your hand, and I applaud that. But again, you got to make decisions. So like, I applaud anything, like Heidi said, that sticks with what they do. You just got to, some things are just, you're never going to win. You know what I mean? What are you going to do? It's like, at the end of the day, it's like, are we going to speak Old English? We're going to get that, it gets crazy.
Yeah. Well, like Ferreira is supposed to be Portuguese and Rodriguez is supposed to be Spanish, but I don't know. You can't really tell the difference.
Yeah, I've been to Portugal. Nobody knows.
Even their clothing is very
Portuguese,
similar, obviously. I'll have to talk to Carlos about that. But yeah, so it's Latin though. They're both Latin, I suppose.
I mean, I guess for me, I kind of, with the English speakers, I've only watched each episode once. So I've kind of lost track of like who belongs where.
I've watched the episodes 2 times each, Tanya, and I am still confused. That's what I'm saying about this show. Like, I'm not advocating to make it more confusing, because I think it's already pretty confusing.
But I mean, it's confusing for me because they're all speaking English, so I don't know who's supposed to be Portuguese, who's supposed to be Spanish, who's supposed to be
the fellas with the cross are the Portuguese.
Oh, the Portuguese. The Catholic.
Yeah, the Catholic. But no, I get it. That's a fair point. I think it's making it simpler. You think it's making it more confusing. That's a fair point. I mean, it is what it is. So, I mean, I'm still confused.
Maybe the showrunners just wanted to distinguish between the
outsiders and insiders.
Japanese. Yeah. We weren't as concerned about differentiating. Although we do start to, though, in episode 3 and 4, we do start to see the Portuguese, and then we've got the what is it? What do you call them? The religious guys in
Jesuit priests.
Clerics.
Thank you, clerics. Thank you. Well, we're starting to get some differentiation there.
Well, spinning off this and moving on, but it's still in the same a through line here. We do see his journal was translated from English to Portuguese for the translator. Did you notice that was the priests, the clerks did that so she could read it? And they, of course, most likely, we have to assume they translated very liberally, and they did the things that were bad in that journal of his. If you look at it, if you look at the episode and you look at his journal that she's reading, there's a paper outside of it that's a different type of paper, and it's a translation, and it's got like the letterhead, whatever you call it back then, from those clerics. So they're translating that for her because she doesn't speak English.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a really
the way she does when it comes into a conversation.
Yeah.
I have an important question to ask. Who do you think won the swimming race, John or Yoshi? Justin.
I don't know. I would have let him win just to piss him off. But you don't tell me what to do.
He's not supposed to let him win.
I know, but you told me not to do that. And that's me being a sheep. So I'm gonna fucking let him.
But win. Yoshi was wearing he had like underclothing, so that would have caused some drag.
Yeah, he looked ridiculous. But but Blackthorne.
That's what they wore.
Yeah, Blackthorne just looks like he's coming out of the methadone.
You look ridiculous.
Terrible. I know. Shut up. Don't say that.
Here's a random observation Heidi just reminded me of. Why is this man naked so much?
I don't know. I think
for someone who doesn't bathe, he is naked a lot.
Right. Yeah. Every other scene, this dude has no clothes on.
Well, I'm trying to figure that out. I don't know if it's supposed to be like for Mariko to sort of see. Like, I don't know if it's supposed to be like, because oftentimes when he's nude, she's there. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's supposed to be like a plot point going on.
He looks like somebody on Craigslist harvested his organs at one point.
I think also
I think there's so many scars on that dude.
I suspect culturally he doesn't think anything of nudity. Perhaps that's another thing.
He's a shipman. there's not a whole
He-
lot of privacy to be had.
He
on the
covered
ship.
his privates, but his butt and the rest of his body. Because even when he was swimming, he was wearing like a little loincloth, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. What was the difference between what he was wearing and
Hi, Sarah.
Toranaga was wearing, like, he just had the wraps, right? The little, it looks like a,
There was
like
more
almost-
fabric. Yeah, that's why I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Blackthorne
they wear
probably
like a
won.
little. They wear like a little shirt and pants underneath their clothing. That's
Yeah,
sort
it kind of
that's
looks
sort
like
their,
kind of what one of those wrestlers,
yeah, like a sumo wrestler.
yeah, they what they wear,
thong?
right? That's kind of like it, right?
Yeah, it's like a thong or
Yeah.
but yeah, so basically it's just like a muslin little like thong, and then but Toranaga's wearing a whole like ensemble. They don't wear traditional underwear, like as we know.
Yeah.
Like that's one of the things I was when I was watching an interview, the actor who plays Mariko, she says, "We don't wear any underwear." It's just like, but it's the same with medieval Europe. Women didn't wear underwear. They wore
Well, they had so many
drawers.
layers of clothing on, anyways.
They
Well, you
did,
wouldn't be able
yeah.
to see
They wore
Blackthorne's
shift.
hepatitis if he didn't get down naked all the time. You know what
Now,
I mean?
Sarah says that
So-
she thinks they tied.
yeah, it is unclear who won, to be honest. They
They
didn't
never
show.
they left it. It was a cliffhanger, and then we never got to see that.
That's such a
Okay.
simplistic way of life. They just want to
Do we want to pick up in episode 4? You guys don't have to remind me what happened at the beginning of episode 4.
I would like to briefly see what Tanya and everybody thought about the action in episode 3. Mainly the action that takes place when they're besieged on the road. That was my one problem with it. My one problem was that seemed very slow and out of sync, and I don't know what was going on there, because since then the action has been good. But I felt like that was when they were racing to get to the boats. A quick example here is something I took issue with was the perspective. It was like they're showing the town. They show Blackthorne getting away on the boat. They show him look at the city. It should cut to his perspective. It then cut to that high shot. I know I'm being like anal about it, but it cuts to then this drone shot like that we've never seen before above the city to show the vast numbers of the army. I get that,
right,
but it's
with
like,
the torches you're talking
yes,
about.
right, but it took me out of it. Like all these decisions they made for when they're on the road fighting, very slow, not choosing to show too much, meaning not cutting quick enough, because you show anybody with a long, like, both him and her looked ridiculous with those long, things. Like maybe she should have looked better because she was trained in it.
That's a woman's weapon, by the way, in Japan.
Yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
I get why, but she should have looked better. She looked slow with it, so they should have done more cutting. I felt like they didn't do them any favors there. It felt like you were supposed to feel like it was very exciting, and it just wasn't for me. And then other times it's been great. So yeah, but up until, and then the boat getting away, I really liked. I thought that was done well. But yeah, I just think they lost some points with me there. It was disappointing because I've recommended the shows, and some people just watch clips like idiots, and I don't like you anyway. So if you're just gonna watch, but they're like, oh, it looks lame. I'm like, well, no, because that's the clips they're gonna watch is these clips. So
I read that the
little cheesy.
director of that episode doesn't have I think it doesn't have a very good track record with directing action scenes.
I can tell. Yeah, that
So
makes sense.
I have to say I agree with you. I thought it was a good episode, but it didn't feel as thrilling as it should have felt. Like it felt like I found episode 4 way more thrilling
Yes,
than
and there's
episode
barely
3.
any.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what about you, Tanya? What did you think of episode 3? Like you're talking about in the woods with the arrow, the flaming arrows, which I did think that was cool though. The flaming arrows, which apparently are historically accurate, by the way.
We'll get into that.
What did you think about that, Tanya? That's there was 2 fighting scenes, right? In episode
What
3,
was the other fighting scene?
there
What
was
was the other one?
well, there was the one. Oh, there was the one on the boat. Is that the one you're talking about, Justin? Where they were
So
trying
you
to
have
escape?
so there's technically 3, but so we could split it
Okay.
up to when they're besieged on the road, Tanya. Then there's what I consider to be good when what's her name's, I'm gonna say what's her name because I'm an ignorant idiot.
Mariko?
Husband,
Yeah.
right? That was
Oh, that was actually I thought that was
good.
good.
That was
That
good.
was
That's
good.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah, I
That was
liked
On the
good.
dock, yeah.
Yeah, the dock was good, and then the boat was decent. It was good. It's fine. It was really just being set upon in the woods that like it should have been done more like Game of Thrones would do it. Game of Thrones would only show little bits of battle, and it would seem more exciting. They lingered too long. I'm nitpicking here, but it was disappointing.
I
'cause that
don't
was the
think
first-
so. I think I kind of agree with you. What
Yeah.
about you, Alicia?
Yeah, I think I don't want to say it looked clunky per se, but it wasn't as seamless, I think, as all the other scenes like that we've seen.
Mhm.
That's
Question for
about it.
you. I asked this of David. Do you think Buntaro, who is Mariko's husband, do you think he is with us still, or do you we didn't see a
he's
body?
dead.
Oh, do you
He
think so?
has to be gone?
Yeah, I think he's
Yeah.
dead.
I'm not
Unless
convinced.
they all started blowing raspberries on his belly when they
which
got
frees
into the house. You know what I
Mariko.
mean? Like,
He's
yeah.
single, so she can fall in love with John.
I have to say,
And
there's
Ants.
yeah. It was funny because last week I had someone leave a comment saying, I hope, because we were talking about, obviously it looks like it's set up that Mariko is going to have a love affair with John. And someone said, I really hope they don't do that. But, I said, well, we don't know for sure. And, obviously this week
we know now. Like my note for that on the few things I jotted down is I can see what's happening and they don't have a clue. Because that's the whole vibe that it gave me. And I kind of was a little peeved and ticked off, just like Timon watching that.
Imagine this, going out like a badass. I mean, how many days was she separated from when she got with him? If I died like that and my wife 2 days later, I'm like, God damn it. You know what I mean? Like, that's not.
It's a loveless marriage. It's a loveless marriage, though. Like, there's no love there.
I'm not shitting. I'm just saying, it's like, man, he went out like, so like, what would be the situation when because Tanya's right, we didn't see a body. So would there be this, like, because there's this weird samurai, like, honor thing that, like, maybe he performed so well that maybe once they got in that house and he was cornered, they let him like live? Would that be a thing?
What David suggested is sometimes meant they would have money on them and they could pay them off. Like,
that's Kings and Knights. I mean,
yeah.
I actually thought that he was gonna commit seppuku on the pier instead of going back to fight because I figured it was a lost cause. So
I have a feeling they're gonna save seppuku like for a very important character. I just have this feeling because the other guy was like hidden, like they behind closed doors.
They didn't show it.
Yeah.
Oh, why do you have to take the baby? I was so upset by that.
Oh, bruh.
How dare you offer up your family line too? Like, what the fuck?
The whole 20 minutes that we spent last night yelling about this dude, all you had to do, young man, was sit there and eat your food. But you wanted to be all stupid boasty. You want to commit suicide? Go ahead. Why you have to bring your baby into this?
He offered seppuku, but then was like added on, like, and I'll end my like you didn't need to end your family line. Like, why am I in it?
It was a nice sweetener.
He didn't even need to say that he would commit seppuku.
No,
he could have just sat there and took the admonishment, but he had to talk.
Well, he disrespected him, so something was going to have to be done. So
something was.
I was thinking about this, and then now
it have been him dying until he opened his mouth and offered it.
Exactly, Ravens. But during Game of Thrones, I was like, we didn't see Stannis die. We didn't see him die. Maybe he's okay. He's okay. And like he's
like Nikki with the blackfish.
Hey,
I'm still waiting to see if Stannis comes back.
Lives.
The blackfish is dead.
I don't know why they didn't. I still don't know to this day why they did that off camera. Like, I'm not sure. Maybe
they're writing their Confederate. They're just so into that Confederate that was going to do so well.
They forgot about it.
Everybody wants to hear about Confederates.
Oh yes, they forgot.
They just forgot about it.
They forgot about it. That's right.
But okay, I think are we blowing this out of proportion?
He's not dead in the book, though. Stephanie said. Okay.
Also, now she has to be a concubine for 6 months. Like this is a harsh.
Not a concubine. She's a consort. It's different.
She's a consort.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sorry about
it doesn't necessarily have to be a sexual
but imagine you mess up at work. It's like, hello, I got an assistant. Kevin, you messed up at work today. So your firstborn and you. Yep, and send your wife over. Yep.
Right.
6 months. Thank you.
Yeah,
I mean,
why
they should have let her kill him.
It's a move. I might try it. It's a move. Yeah.
Okay, so all right, so I'm gonna wait and see if Buntura is still alive. Well, I have to ask you guys this one question. I was just thinking about this before I came on. So, okay, there's no love lost between her and her husband. Obviously, there's some kind of chemistry between her and John, but her son is back. Back in where is he? He's back in the village. He's back in Osaka or something, isn't he?
Yeah.
And his dad has died, and she's like. With John and his consort. So there was no mention of that. Did you think that was weird? Or do you think that's something that, she sent to Raven and with a little message to him and said, I'm really sorry your father passed away.
Yeah. She doesn't want to hang out with him. He doesn't even have a dad. She's like, what a loser. Yeah. I'm sorry, bad joke. No, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, they seem to be very emotional. That is a theme, though. All jokes aside, bad jokes aside by me. That is a theme that they separate. This is the whole thing about the 8. What is it? The name of this episode? It's about like finding peace within yourself.
Eightfold Fence.
Yeah, so it's all about finding inner strength and finding peace no matter what within yourself. So like this is all because she shows to him that he's not the only person struggling here. Like you guys just brought up that the kid is somewhere else. Her husband just died. She's not weeping about it. That's not weakness. And it's not that she doesn't care, but she has found a way to survive in this world in which anybody will bring up the earthquake. I thought was a nice metaphor. He wasn't used to it. She's like, we're all, it's like, you're not the only one here that's like got your neck on the line. Everybody here, because this is such a messed up, like very, very, this is like walking a tightrope with a razor blade. This is crazy what they're all trying to do. Like this is a very sketchy situation for everybody. So
Yeah,
And then add
we
in
brought up a
earthquake.
little. We brought up a little of that last night. Like she's just very good at taking herself out the situation. Like, yes, she's Christian, she's got qualms about things, but this is also her homeland, and she knows exactly how to separate the two. And she's going to choose her home first and foremost, and the mission as it is. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of her story. I think some very interesting things will go on around her.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad actually, because I watched the 80s show. I didn't read the book, but it's been years since I watched it. So I did kind of know that there would be some kind of romance there. I thought they might have done a different thing, so I didn't know. But I do like how they're not doing a huge info dump about her. They're revealing her slowly. And I sort of like that because and I kind of like that because it even feels like culturally that feels correct to do that. John would be the type of person I think who would just do a huge info dump and say, this is me. But whereas she's like, no, more cautious, and she really needs to learn. I mean, she doesn't really trust anybody. We've been sort of told that through this culture, at least through Toranaga, that you can't really trust anybody except for yourself, even your own family.
And that brings up him leaving that council. So let's talk about that, because like, this is
hold on just 1 second so I can grab something.
Sorry. Oh yeah,
I'll be
absolutely.
right back.
Yeah, no problem.
Hold on, I'm getting a call from my guy again. You messed up, bro. So yep, you and your firstborn, and send your wife next week. Thank you. Mess that edit up.
Oh my god! I thought I've done some stupid things.
What am I supposed to do here? I peed, and also I used the power move of the peen. You know what I mean? Like
I've like blurted things out before, and I'm like, oh god, did I just say that? But you know, like
I am still going to be upset about that situation with the baby until the finale episode comes around.
A lot of bold moves.
I was actually, Alicia, I was actually in denial when I was watching that first episode because I was like, oh no. Oh, what's going on here? No, they're not killing the baby. What? Wait. And I was in complete denial until I saw that scene. I was like, there's no way. They
have their culture and how they do things, especially with like the honor bound ridiculous code. They will wipe out whole bloodlines for real. And it doesn't have to be just one baby boy. It will be like your cousins, your fourth cousins, 3 times removed on your great grandfather's side. If they know you're related and you fuck up bad enough, everybody's gone. Dead. Yeah. Your name will be stricken from the records.
Yeah, it's like an honor bound culture versus a duty bound culture is something to think about as well that we're introduced with this. The difference being honor bound, like just to kill you, like for these traditions, so it is tied together. It's the same thing with like Game of Thrones, like duty, love, all that. But it's a culture that's definitely something we're not. Like I said, I made the joke about the guy peeing on the guy, but imagine peeing on the guy because you think he's going to get killed, and he's still around like 3 weeks later. You're like, shit, you got to deal with him. You know what I mean?
Wait, is that the same prisoner? Like they,
Man, well, and it's
like that.
And if you notice, there's been many situations where it's been called out, like, what? You're still alive? Like, how is it you're still alive? Like, it's been brought up so many times. And Tanya, we were talking about this last night. Just John is so tenacious. He's like, that he's mouthy and he's loud and he's brash, but in some weird way,
barbarian.
He's a barbarian.
It's not endearing to me.
I like his character.
I find him insufferable.
He's screaming out his skill sets at all times. He's like, I got Bitcoin. I'm worth something.
until he has to be forced to think of things a different way. And we've already seen this is something that Mariko is very good at because she's the one that got the asshole husband that couldn't shut his mouth to calm the hell down while he's talking to his wife when he's trying to take the baby away for the kid to die. Here, she says just a couple sentences to him, and he's like, okay, wait, okay, all right. And then he goes into what he knows, which once he's actually got his feet planted, he's very charismatic. So, and he figures out, hey, let me tell you what I know. A siege sucks. I've never been in one of them. I'm a seaman. I can tell you how to handle these cannons if we pull it. Shut up. I knew you was going to say something. Let me show you how these cannons work. If you can get my ship just like, you don't even got to be close to shore. You could be a little bit ways out. Pull up with the ships and let me get these cannons going. And we could win this war in a day or two versus a whole year or 2 year siege.
So let's talk about that, though. This comes on to him leaving the council and so forth. So, okay, so what I believe is happening with that is everybody, like, I don't think, what is his name again?
Toranaga?
Yoshi.
Yeah, Toranaga. No, yeah, Toranaga. Yeah, Toranaga. Like, I don't believe he really thinks that John could teach them anything. He's wasting time. He's buying time here. That's what he's doing right now. Like he's setting all this up to kill time, and he's making moves. Like he's getting himself time. He doesn't really think this asshole can do anything for him. And also, it's interesting. Now he does end up having some things. If he could shoot cannons from a boat, he would be able to shoot cannons on land fairly easily. It's also interesting that she says, like, well, let's talk about a battle you're really in. Like the last battle all of them were in was Korea, like 9 times in a row, and they lost every time. So like, you know, there's like a different like honor. Like, don't take like again, this is like, what have you done, not what have others done. It's just a weird culture like that. But you know, it's interesting. But I don't really think that like what he's doing, because okay, so they're trying to kill him from that council, right? So do we agree with it? I agree with what he's doing, because what you do is you don't legitimize that council. What you do is you step outside of it and say it's bullshit, right? Like you take its legitimacy away. And I think that's what he's doing right now. Like it is, but he's also like, this is such a interesting situation. I tried to think of other cultures and other times that this would have been similar, right? Like, so I thought about England at the time. No, it wouldn't have been. There's still like there was barons and there was lords and all this, but like there was and then France during the 100 Years War had a lot of different people infighting, and the only comparison I came to was the Native Americans of the Americas that had more this tribalistic battle, because this is such tight-knit armies right here. Like we're looking at something that is just not comparable to anywhere else, right? We're talking about like 200 guys each. You know what I mean? Like we're talking about very small armies. Like, and so like these alliances are very important. It's like if that one guy leaves him, he's screwed, right? So like it's all like this is a very like playing it close to the chest thing. Like it's not like the Barons' War. It's not like any of that. It's not even like France, like I said, during the 100 Years War. I have to just only comparisons what I know about the, you know, the Indian wars within themselves in the Americas before colonization. You know what I mean? Like that type of thing. So it's something we don't really understand. Like this is what we did see in the end of this episode. We'll get there. What ends up happening, but like this is like this whole thing can get turned by like 100 men, and I think that's interesting. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, let's talk about that. So Toranaga, he arrives in the fishing village, and then he kind of like leaves. He does a lot of leaving, right?
I love that scene.
He is well in episode 3. Mariko says our Lord has a lot of tricks up his sleeve, or she to that sort of end. Like he's no Ned Stark. Like I think at the beginning we think, oh, maybe he's a Ned Stark. He's an honorable man. Like he's got this war council who's going to kill him. But I think he's a lot more intelligent than Ned Stark is, or maybe not intelligent.
I think he
Ned wouldn't have left the council. Ned would have been like, we need to fix the council isn't acting right. Cersei, stay right here where I can see you. I think
he has nodes of Ned in him, but he also has a bit of, for Dune reference for you guys. If you think about Baron Harkonnen, he has it specifically said plans on plans on plans. That's where Yoshi's mind is. He's in the same positions a lot with how Ned was, but when he's going through and he's assessing the situation, he's making the correct moves. Like this is the blueprint. If Ned needed to take lessons, sit down and turn to page 394 and start taking notes from this man, because he is thinking outside the box. And when he got there, the way he played that speech so greatly, he like almost automatically, those men are supposed to be his to command anyways, but you could tell the way he did what he said, especially giving them the honor of him bowing to them. They're all going to remember that. No matter what else happens, they're going to remember that very specifically. And then I love how he just turned around out the blue and cheers, still going. And he's still the correct politician. He's got the fan in the air, praising them as they're praising him. That. And meanwhile, Uncle Asshole trying to betray the whole thing is looking like, what fuck is he going? So, my dad forgot to tell you. He's got some business to go take care of. He has his own little side quest to go on. So I'm gonna be here to help supervise. What is his new title? Haro Yato or something?
Yeah, I forgot.
I know I'm saying it wrong.
Yeah,
he basically says,
I think it's Hot Moko, something like that. Let's just say it. No, it's Hatamoto.
You're not helping,
Uncle Asshole.
It's Hatamoto.
I like Uncle Asshole.
It's Hatamoto.
He has some funny about him, and I appreciate that. However, I think we do see here where his facade is beginning to crack. Technically, it's already cracked because Yoshi already peeped game like 4 episodes ago, dealing with this guy, and I think he's played him perfectly. All those soldiers, all those men in that village now that are under his nephew's command, if at any point in time Yoshi comes in to assert anything, I think it's going to be much like with Avatar, and how
I haven't seen that show yet.
What, 2 bad movies in a series?
You'll see. I won't say exactly what it is then, but you'll see the comparison.
Okay. I want to say hello to Natural Selection. She says, "Hi everyone. I promise not to be
Natural
mean."
Selection.
In brackets.
Hey, Uncle AU.
I was missing you. I was like, "Where's Natural
Missing
Selection?"
you.
And Carl says, "Uncle Asshole, I've been called worse."
Yeah.
No, I love Yabu. He's kind of like the comic relief of the show. Actually, there's a lot of humor in the show.
Yeah, but
Tanya,
he's still a cunt.
Yeah,
Tanya,
I mean, most people are cunts, though, to be fair.
you guys keep doing this. I'm going to get demonetized.
Sorry.
Tanya, what do you think of the humor in the show? Like, do you find it funny? Like in a Japanese humor type of way?
Do you even see humor? You're muted. You're muted, love. We can't hear you.
I can't think of anything that I found funny.
You didn't find the scene where like Yabu is like he's got all the cannons and at the shore with his nephew, and then Toranaga's like what do we call him? The hand of the king comes and says, "Okay, hand over the cannons, hand over the gold." He's like, "Oh, sure, of course. Oh, do you not serve your lord? Of course, I serve my lord. Yes, you can have that." You didn't find that really funny? Yeah, that's just me.
It's funny in the way of
we're weird. All of us laughed about it last night. Like, we're the weird ones here. Sorry,
I mean, because he's like a what do you call him? A little finger. He's a total he's
trying to save his own ass. I didn't think it was funny though.
That's all it was. He's like, wait, hold on. No,
his posturing was funny. His fan work was fantastic.
His
I was
fan
like,
work.
I want to, like, if I could
they
walk in a
had
room with a fan
consultants
like
come
that,
and teach them how to do the fan work. And I have to say, Yoshi,
that is
what do you call him? Sub-Zero.
Touch.
His
Sub-Zero,
fan work was mwah.
Yeah, if I could do that, like I would go to like the grocery store and I would do that, and I'd be like half off. Like that is impressive.
Nobody would treat you.
Show you my fan work.
I'm going to try it, Alicia. Don't kill my dream. But
you would wax on, wax off. Is that what you said?
Fan work.
No. See, she's doing it well.
I wish I had my fan. My fan's
spoiling a random surprise. I will
have my fan tomorrow.
Fan at some point, Tanya.
Oh, keep them coming. I love
the power like structure here. So we have Blackthorne, who thinks he's free, but he's pretty much just like a puppy from the pound, and they gave him a name tag with his title, and he's realizing that, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go back to my ship." They're like, whoa. No, you're not.
No, you're not.
Like,
that was good. That was
the scene was awesome. Okay, note. Hold on.
Yeah.
I have a note for that specific scene. Where did it go? Yeah. Basically, he's walking around doing the harumphing white colonizer barbarian-ness on trying to get things done, and Mariko just comes up like, nah.
Yeah. She just like pops.
You're not doing that.
She needs a bell
right
on
out the
her.
shadows.
Yeah, where did you get bell? She's been
trying to find out about his men. They are trying to bring that back in. He's worried about his men.
Like, okay, but
one was boiled alive.
Well, I mean, look, I don't fault them for that one. No, they was disrespecting. One of them had to go. Somebody had to take that L.
He didn't have to be boiled alive.
No, he didn't. He didn't. You're correct. But one of them had to go some way. But because of their lord, and I won't rehash it because we did go into that last night. But here, I feel like Blackthorne should know, as quick as he is thinking on his feet most times, you should have known you were not going to see these men.
Yeah, I think though that.
Where do you think, by the way, and like there's a lot of like, okay, no, we've moved them. Like, what does that mean?
Right?
Like,
do you think they were moved for their own protection?
They're moved with that. Like, that just sounds like something American propaganda. Like, what is that?
I was just about to say that's what happens all the time.
What it was,
we always do that.
They're in Guantanamo or something. What does that even mean?
We moved them for their own protection because we didn't want you to see them here. That's it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Bin Laden's house had like they had mold in it or something. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's like, I gotta get him out
You
of
can't
there.
live with black
Yeah.
mold. We need to move
Yeah,
them.
better get him out of
and
there.
then he has like a little hissy fit, doesn't he? And breaks an oar.
Oh, so let's talk about it though. Let's talk about power here, because he's trying to establish he's saying, okay, the council's going against me, so I'm going to delegitimize the council. I think that's a smart move. That's not a Ned move. Ned would be like, well, we're going to fix it. We're going to follow the rules. I wrote them down. You know what I mean? And everybody, I'll tell you what I'm doing. But so he's leaving that. So he's delegitimizing that. He's risking his alliances because like they're all like, man, you might as well kill yourself already. He's like, not until like something. So the legal structure here is who would send that? The son of the emperor's son, who is technically the emperor right now. But also with Blackthorne, if somebody gives you a title, they give you, he felt like he had power. No, he was given power by him. So he is his pet. You know what I mean? Like that is, he is buying time. He's doing the same thing with Blackthorne. I believe his crew is alive. I think this is purposeful and they're not just killing him. I think that because they do want him, because he, again, is like the non-insufferable like other Catholic Christian option, not Catholic. You know what I mean? Like the Pope isn't saying they own, like we go with him and the Pope's, you're not going to be like, yeah, that's mine. Japan's mine. I own it. You know, so like it's an interesting situation and they are withholding things from him, but they're trying to make him feel comfortable, you know, and but he's in a gilded cage. He's in a gilded cage and he realizes it. But everybody's
he called that right. He absolutely did call it right, but it took him actually having to be told that it's first of all, it's not your ship, those are not your men, you may associate yourself with those things, but they belong to my lord and he will use them, including you, as he sees fit.
I think it's an honest and realistic reaction though, because we all like, you know, like think things will work out, and like he doesn't know this culture, so he's like, maybe they are there, like why I'm gonna try, right? Like maybe I do, because
he's used to being able to hustle people. And he's vastly underestimating who
he's
Yoshi
like, real,
and who
maybe
the Japanese are in
boy.
general.
Like, no, you're not a real boy.
No, you're not. No, you're not. You might have this title and you might have been given this nice house. You even got a consort. You're getting paid. You're actually getting paid. And he's talking about, you know, this is just a bigger cage. Well, yeah, I mean, but at least you're making some money though. You're not being threatened with death.
Yeah, I wonder how much money that is actually.
Yeah, I don't know how much money. He said he didn't care. I don't think he understands. So we don't know either. What is that? Like, what is he? Did he just get a sweet deal? Because I'd be like, screw those guys.
Whatever the exchange amount is, it's still more than nothing.
Yeah,
because they don't even being the person that's going to be training these men on these newer weapons, it didn't have to be him. You could be made to just do that. He doesn't have to pay you to do that.
And I don't even think they need him to do that, to be honest. Like, I mean, obviously they're taking advantage.
She said as much. I have
a question for all of you.
They've had guns for like 40 years.
40 years, yeah. The Portuguese brought them guns, so they know that. It's the cannons and everything else.
I have a question for all of you. Okay, what do you think about him lying to Mariko? Like, you know, when they go down, he's in the hot springs, which, by the way, looks amazing. I'd love to do that in Japan, go in the hot springs. And first off, did you think she was going to join him? And secondly, what do you think about the lie he told her that he would take her to see the Queen?
I did not think she was going to join him.
I did not think she was going to join him, and he literally was just spitting game. That's it.
Yeah,
but she knew it though, right?
Yeah, I don't think she believed him.
Yeah, but she can't prove it. It's
blowing
a good
air
move.
up her ass.
Solid move, you know.
No, sir.
No, I know. Yeah, it's not great.
Which cassette is it? The white one that she wears in episode 4? Sarah, can you tell me which one? She has so many costumes.
So who would have been?
Oh, she said natural. I think she knew he was joking.
So who would have been his queen? Wouldn't it have been? There wouldn't have been
Elizabeth.
His queen? Well, Elizabeth was dead before. No, she wasn't.
No, she was alive until like 1603.
Okay, so then
it doesn't
nearly
even
dead
matter because she has no way of confirming that.
No, I know. So it's a solid move.
Yeah, they don't know anything because he says they have a queen, and Toranaga's like, what? Like what? They have a queen? You know,
the streets definitely don't stink of poop.
Like you know, probably the idea that a woman would be, and also would he even know what a queen is? Like, how would he even know what that is?
Yeah, you're right.
It's interesting because can we talk about that too? Like the power that we're seeing that the women do have in this it's an interesting contrast because it's seemingly from like the power structure they don't have a lot of power, but then we're seeing that they do, like when his guns are held by his consort and so forth. So it's a interesting you know, like
Yeah, like
landscape
Fumi knew her way around a flintlock. Like knew what she
Yeah.
was doing, which shocked me actually, because the way she sort of like he hands them to her and she kind of puts them into her kasode and is
Like the
holding them,
sleeves,
and then
yeah.
you think like she doesn't know what she's doing, but she knew.
No.
And then she racks up.
You,
Yeah.
yo,
I was like,
can I
that
tell,
was
can I tell you
awesome.
guys? Can I tell you guys my note on that move once she pulled it? My new headcanon for her is in another life. She was absolutely a Baratheon, and her nickname was the Quiet Storm.
Oh, I love that.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. By the way, I love her costume. It's one of my favorites. That green one she's wearing. Oh, so
I
pretty.
think she's my number 2 favorite character.
Yeah, and she has a sweet little, like she has those sweet little like curls like that. Just oh, I love it. No, I was going to actually ask. This is one thing I was thinking of. Like, I don't know how much a flintlock weighs, but that scene when John is holding both of those things look so heavy.
I feel like it would have like blown
they
his
probably
shoulders
were
out.
heavy. Yeah, they probably were pretty heavy back then.
I feel like if he had actually fired both of them, like he'd just dislocate both shoulders.
Yeah, he would like fly back and then
like
like you ever see, like 103-pound like people on YouTube shooting 45 magnums and they break their nose. And also very inaccurate. And then also you'd be like, give me 10 minutes to reload. You better stay right there.
High silver scale.
I'm gonna look up that weight.
Scale.
Oh, you didn't miss
much.
much.
I agree, Mina. I agree. Fuji, I'm really liking the development here, and this also with that scene when they were talking earlier, where well, she doesn't act like a grieving widow that just lost their kid.
The scene where the cannons, I mean, this is kind of far ahead in the episode, but the scene where the cannons are actually hitting those guys, it was so much more gruesome than I was expecting to see.
Yeah, well, actually, before we get to that, to Tanya, do you want to talk about the love scene? Just to add a little bit of levity to this. Before we get to the final battle.
Oh, when the lady comes in, the concubine comes in, or
well,
courtesan,
I don't think it was
rather.
a concubine.
I'm sorry, the courtesan was the word.
No.
Which scene are you talking about?
I'm pretty sure it was Mariko.
That was Mariko.
Mariko. I think that okay. So Justin, so Tanya, you didn't think it was Mariko?
At first, I thought it was Mariko, which I just disapproved of.
The consort left before she came in. That's who was leaving the room.
Yeah, it's dark.
Right. I saw that, but the next, and then when she sat down next to him and was like, "You're cheery this morning," I was like, "Oh God, Mariko, no!" But then she said it was a courtesan, so I was like, "Okay, maybe it was a courtesan." But they also did shadowy faces, so maybe it was Mariko.
Exactly. And old girl was looking at her like, the fuck y'all talking about? So yeah, that pretty much is what sold it for me.
And I'm like, Mariko, why?
Right. Of all, look at you, girl. Of all the men's you could have, you picked that. Shimon.
I personally I thought it was Mariko. And I think the reason why she said that the next morning is for a few reasons. One, maybe it's just to tease him, but also I think so that Fumi, who's sitting next to them, just in case the night before she heard them, she would think it was a courtesan and not think it was her because she's a widow. I don't know what the protocol is regarding being a widow.
Probably not 2 days after, to be fair. Yeah. Whatever, I guess.
Look, she had needs and they needed to be filled. Okay, don't judge her.
I mean, her husband's been dead for like 17 minutes.
I'm saying,
really,
yeah.
And this is a stinky guy.
When was the last time like they even did a thing?
I don't know, but the stinky guy. I mean, I guess because he's new.
But they were eating that stinky fermented
should have been
cheese. Like that was like the what do you call it? That when food makes you get in the mood.
It's
aphrodisiac.
Yeah, they're eating that fermented shit. Right.
Okay, but both of them ate it too, though, and Fuji was not about to sleep with that man.
Well, number one, to be clear, we can't tell for sure because of the lighting. They did that on purpose, and then because of her snai, and
you can tell because of the haircut.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, they
but a lot of people have that haircut.
Yeah, I guess I believe it's her. I
mean,
why would they leave this ambiguous?
Nacho, yes, thank you, Natural Selection and Sarah. I was just trying to remember what it was because I'd looked it up earlier.
Oh, what was that?
The dish that they were eating, it's not natto. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. It's like I think it's like it's high in vitamin K. I don't know what vitamin K does. And yeah, there's
K
something
for
in one of the
kinky.
things that they use in it that makes it look to me it kind of reminded me of like extra slimy okra.
Vegemite.
And I am Vegemite.
Okra.
It's like
yeah, exactly.
I had rotten
Ew.
tofu one time, and it was actually I thought it was like butter. To me it tasted sort of like butter.
Yeah, it's
Rotten
fermented,
tofu?
so it's sad and it's
fermented. Yeah.
I mean, those have been around for a long time, so it was just something that it was him showing that he was willing to try their stuff, though. So it was a nice sentiment on his part. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like he's like, yeah, let me have some of that.
He seemed to like it actually. I mean, maybe he was just being polite. I don't know.
I think he just wants to show them appreciation any way he can, because in this episode I think they all have come a long way, to be fair. So maybe not to have sex. And I don't know what I think about that. I do believe it's her for story reasons. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I could tell you we don't have none of us have definitive proof one way or another, to be clear.
Right. I think for me, I don't want it to be, because it feels out of character for what we've seen so far.
Mm-hmm.
For her to just like slip into his room and like.
Very true. That's why I didn't think it was cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems if it is her, it feels very out of character for what they've given us so far about her.
But don't you think it would be weird that he didn't know it's not her? Like it would be weird.
Like, yeah, I was like, why is he so easy?
He would know it.
That's exactly
all it takes is a tap on the shoulder.
Yeah.
He specifically said, "I don't want a woman.
I don't want."
And you can see he's not the whole time they've been there. He's not looked at Fuji in
he didn't
any way, shape, or
he
form.
didn't
And that's
want
what
any
Fuji's
woman.
there for.
He didn't. I don't think he meant he didn't want any woman.
At that
think
point,
well, he did say that in one of the first episodes, when he's first indoors, I guess, and she offers to get him a courtesan, and he's like, he doesn't want to pillow anyone.
Yeah.
And it's him to not like him trying to stay in control. So like, like he is now becoming resigned to where he's at by the end of this 4th episode. So I believe before he's like, no, I don't want this. I don't want that. I want to go to my ship and I want to be with my men. You're not going to give me the comfort. It's like, you go to a casino. They're like, oh, here's some chips. We'll get a car for you. You know what I mean? Like he's not trying to play that game, but now I think he's more resigned. So then he sits down and he's like, I can't go to my ship, whatever. He's like, I guess I'll take that woman. You know what I mean? Like, I think he's more willing to engage in it, which is a realistic thing because he is trying to fight, like in his sense of, like women's like worth and like how they should be treated is different. It's interesting. It's hard to know exactly what the Japanese culture is. They seem to be more open with their emotions and their feelings. I don't know technically sexually how open they are. I guess more than a Westerner, but I'm not educated enough to say that. So he is somewhat alarmed by it. He's a little bit of a prude. You know what I mean?
It's hard for me because, like I said, like years and years and years ago, I watched the 80s version. So I know there's a love story that happens in the book and it happened in the 80s series, but you guys could be right. And maybe that they just got like, kind of like in Game of Thrones when they had a Daenerys lookalike prostitute. Do you remember that? Yeah. They had a girl dressed up like Daenerys in one of the brothels. And
they got those in real life too. That's a fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that?
They got those in real life too. That's a fun fact.
They have for what? They have like prostitutes that are dressed up.
No,
like
there's porn stars that act like Daenerys. Yeah.
No, that act like Daenerys.
Yeah. It's not
well,
that
I'm sure that there. If you like say got a high, like say if you like, I saw a show recently. Oh, it was like the House of what was it called? It was
House of Usher.
The Fall of the House of Usher.
And she has a high class call girl come who looks like her, right? She's dressed up like her and everything. So I suppose that you could say, but I think it would be strange for me if he didn't know it was her, because just based on like smell and pheromones and all that kind of thing. I don't know. Yeah.
So I think his love is, again, I agree with that. I think that at the beginning he was just trying to get back to his ship, and now he is somewhat conforming like to it. You know what I mean? Yes. And that was a friend. AU. It was a friend. Yes. A friend, a nasty man.
But anyway, so it would be interesting if it was, and then they develop a non-sexual, or maybe, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But
it does seem like so do we all agree that it would lower our opinion for whatever that's worth? But I do kind of agree with the ladies here. I do think that I would think a little bit less about her, to be fair. I think that it's weird timing.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I hate to be judgmental, but it might be a little bit judgmental here. I do kind of agree. Like, her husband just fucking died, like, brutally.
I honestly, even outside of that, it just doesn't seem like it fits with her character. Her eye is on the prize. We know, we've already seen exactly how she thinks, and I don't want to say maybe compartmentalize. I think that might be the wrong word for it, but she's always able to look at things objectively, I think, and she knows what path she needs to be on, and she's going to follow that path regardless of whatever other shit comes up. So her doing this, especially this soon, and not even in relative, about her husband dying, but this soon, because she hasn't known this dude for that long, and there's just better choices.
No, I think for me, it's not so much about. Well, I mean, yeah, her husband just died like a couple days ago. There's that, but like she comes off as if she cares so much about honor, propriety, and she's like teaching him. And then to go and like, slip into his room at night, it just felt like, I don't know, it just, she was even modest when he was bathing, she sat with her back turned.
Let's talk about her other characteristics. So first off, I agree with Natural that she didn't love her husband. It didn't seem like that's been set up. That's fair. It doesn't seem like there was a strong connection. So besides that, let's talk about her other characteristics. She's very curious and willing to engage in other cultures. So that could be a form of attraction to him, right? There is a connection with them. I do agree it seems a little bit fast, but is it truly out of character for somebody that is a Christian in this, country?
How long has it been, though? How long has it been, though, for him?
I don't know. I think I said right away that I do think it's quick too, but like there are other story points and characteristics from her, that have been strongly depicted that would show that she is a curious, person that like wants to explore other things. And, so like it is what it is. I think I'm sticking with it's a little bit quick, but I do agree with Natural. I don't think it's like, oh, she loved her husband and that's the only reason. But yeah,
no, I don't think it has anything to do with loving her husband. I just think that, up to this point, she's just been, I don't know. So I feel like I haven't been given anything that would make me think she would do that. Like I've noticed like the glances and things like that would make me think she might fall for him. But for her to just like hop in bed with him, it just seems like she wouldn't do that. And then, she's also a Catholic. She's a religious woman, and, and she seems to take that very seriously too. So you would think that, she would have a sense of honor or shame.
And so good point there. But what do we think about her play date? Like her like imagining a date with him that night. Like she is obviously interested. I'm still sticking with it.
I do think she's interested. It just felt like it was, I don't know, like you said, it's too fast. It just
super rushed.
And we don't. It's just hard to know how much time has gone by.
We don't know how much time has passed. That's what's hard. But and I think they have had to speed things up a little bit, maybe. But one thing I was going to say is I'm pretty sure, based on the relationship she has had with her husband, that it's a loveless marriage. It's an arranged marriage.
It was arranged.
And for all we know, the only time they ever had sex, it was to consummate, or the relationship was when they had
a very Catholic way to do things.
Yeah. So I mean,
I wasn't gonna mention like the Catholic girls I grew up with.
Exactly. So it's possible that she hasn't, had relationships with her husband for years. How old is their son? For all we know.
Yeah. Well, she just has to go to confession on Sunday. She's fine. She's good. She's good.
3 Hail Marys and
fingers crossed.
Also, we were talking about this last night. Like, we were, she's able to have 2 hearts or whatever. Like, she's able to be be Japanese and be Catholic at the same time. Like, she's, I think in Japanese culture, it's not a strange thing for, like she says, to pillow with someone. It's not a weird thing. They don't look at it that way.
It seems so, right? Like, that's what I'm not informed enough on Japanese culture to say that how they are sexually, how open they are. But from what the show has told us, I think we should all agree, right? That it seems to be that they're depicting the Japanese in this series, at least to be fair and not to be misquoted, as being more openly sexual than the rest of the Europeans. Am I wrong here? Does anybody disagree with that?
No.
Yeah,
I think I think this discussion sort of makes me think that maybe the showrunners were like, they wanted to leave it up to the viewer.
Seems like a
Perhaps
weird
that was
thing
the
to do.
goal.
Yeah.
They wanted to cause conflict with us and make us fight.
Yeah,
with each
we're
other.
we're a choice for it to be that subject matter.
But does
eh.
anybody know? I don't know her backstory, and I seriously don't know it. And I know it's like something like big. So like, we're not going to say it, but do any of you know it? Because I think that also could have.
No.
I know it.
Okay, so Heidi, not without saying anything, does that make more sense?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, you want us to fight Sarah or natural?
No, we are
We're all
not
good friends here.
arguing.
We
Yeah,
have, by
we
the
are
way, I
not
have to say,
arguing.
Carl aside, we have the love. No, I love Carl. Don't get me wrong. Our chat is always awesome. So I always enjoy you guys. I'm just teasing you, Carl.
I don't like you, Carl. I'll say it to your face. I don't care. No, you're fine. You're fine. Let's see,
One of so many reasons me and Justin are friends.
Yeah. No. Now he's got some points. But what's the point of all those points, Carl? My point. What's the point of all your fucking points?
Anyway, no, I mean, it's, first of all, it's a fictional show, so we should just be having fun with it.
But the culture, I don't want to be the one to say, oh, Japanese, we're open more sexually, because I don't fucking know, Heidi. And then somebody's gonna watch this and be like, he's an idiot. You know what I mean? Which is fair.
Then you'll get canceled.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Cancel before you even know what's going on.
Well, I don't know. I'm gonna say that I personally, I think it is. They left. I think they're leaving it up to the viewer.
I think it's weird. I think,
but
that,
obviously,
yeah,
if they do have a first time together, then he'll be like, "Oh, well, who is that other woman?"
Yeah.
And also, I mean, possibly he's a bit of an idiot that he doesn't know who he's sleeping with. Like,
yeah, that's a bad sign.
There could be that too.
She was soft. Like what? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, well, she was soft. like what?
He had long dark hair.
He called it a thoughtful gift.
Yeah,
my guy.
I enjoyed that. Yeah. I won't go. I had other.
I'm just saying, I enjoy I enjoy the punani as much as any other, but I'm not gonna look at it and say, "Oh, what a precious gift." That is. Yeah. I mean, unless it's the right circumstance.
You have to remember. You have to look at it from John's point of view. You have to look at it from John's point of view as well. Even though he was saying that he's not interested in any of that. He has been like we were saying last night, how many ships perished?
Yeah.
They're the last remaining ship. They only had like a dozen people left on the ship.
500 dudes.
20 were eaten in Hawaii of all places.
Yeah, they were eaten.
Yeah.
They probably smoked them and then had or maybe they put them in a
I'm fairly certain many moons ago it was called long pork in
West
that's Indies.
Yes, long pork. Exactly. That's awful.
I just want to say there's a guy named DJ Peach Cobbler, and he does all of these videos about like Rome, and he does all these videos about the Aztecs, and it's about the colonization of that area, and it is so informative and funny though because of how ignorant and how much these sailors trying to get to this area, you know what I mean, to Latin America, to the Americas, and how they were off by so much and how many epic failures. It's right in the same timeline. Watch him. He's got a weird sense of humor, but it's really funny. Like literally these people are always not where they think.
His name is really DJ Peach Cobbler?
Yeah, that's his name, and you'll love him. You'll love him. He's funny.
I'm going to search that just on the strength of his name.
Yeah, it's actually funny because John says under the sheets all Japanese women are the same, and I kind of did think that also. Like John, again, he's he's a Westerner, and he's like, oh, I don't know, isn't this Mariko?
Oh yeah, I mean,
I could see his character.
Yeah, that would seem like I don't know. It's like it looks kind of.
How long has this man? How long has this man been here? And he's obviously learning the language and their culture and the way of doing things. But he still calls them the Japans.
The Japansies. It's
like you
just
walk
I
up
know,
fuck.
I know he was just in a hot spring, but did he use soap?
No, they don't.
Ew.
Or I don't think he did. I'm sure they do.
He still stinks, which is also Mariko, baby girl. There are better options.
Yeah, I'm like, did you just wet up the stink?
Well, his hepatitis is there, but he probably said to somebody, he's like, "Hey, I had sex last night." I'm like, "With who?" He's like,
"No, he did. He did.
There's no idea,
too, didn't he?
What?
Didn't he have such a scurvy too?
Oh, some of the guys on this ship did. I don't know if he did.
We determined. I don't think he did have scurvy because his
that's right.
In good shape.
Yeah, because of his secret stash. That's right.
Yeah,
I
because of the
forgot-
plot.
Oh,
He's like, my
okay.
teeth be good
Yeah.
because of the plot.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
Silver Scale is 100% certain that it was her. Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Well, none of us know for
Can
sure.
you highlight
Yeah.
that?
Hi,
Yes,
Vincent.
Vincent.
What up the
Lo-
stink? Well, they
Lovely
say,
to see you,
though,
my friend.
It is warm and it is like kind of bubbly though. So maybe there is like maybe the effervescence does dissolve some of the oil. I don't know.
Nah, bro. Nah, he needs Dove and Suave and like every other
He
soap
needs
out
Lye.
there because
Don't
ew.
use soap in the
Ye-
hot
yes.
spring. You wash before you get into the hot spring.
Well, he definitely did it.
Oh, he did.
No.
Well, he's contaminated it now. It needs to be drained and
Yeah.
cleaned, possibly bombed, and make a new one.
He's got all the
Yeah.
hepatitis. He's got
He has
hepatitis.
another name though. Silver Scale. Do you remember
A,
the
B, and
name
C.
he calls them at the beginning? Like he says, "We've arrived. By my determinations or by my estimations, we should be in the Japanimaze or something." He had
Yeah.
a name for it. He had a weird name for the whole area.
So that's how
But
it was.
I like
Oh,
that he
yeah.
actually does use these weird sort of it's we can't even imagine. I mean, this is before like TikTok and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're before
Good.
TikTok.
Yeah, I mean, fucking good. Yeah, I mean, I'm not even gonna take credit. Great reference point there. Yeah, no, yeah,
This
you're
is
right.
before GPS. They didn't have
Yeah.
GPS. They didn't have any of that stuff. So I can't even
Yeah, well,
imagine.
half the people that were trying to get to Latin America ended up in Florida. Half the people that are trying to get to Florida ended up in Latin America and Hawaii. It's crazy. Like, seriously, look into it. People are bad at getting around. It doesn't work well.
Yeah, I thought he came up with a weird word for it. Are we in the
Yeah, he said something
Japanimaze?
silly. Yeah, he said, no, these were the
The
Japanimaze.
Japan Archipelago or
Shut up,
something.
Justin. These are Japanicos. I know them. I know how to deal with the Japanicos.
Yeah, well, he would know how to use the sextant though, because he's a pilot.
Yeah.
So he
Well, you
would
looked
know.
at the
Hey,
stars.
hi,
No, he
Chiron.
used the
Is that how you
stars.
say your name? Chiron? Chiron?
Because there's the big
That's
dicker
a
up
new
there.
name,
Yeah,
I like
look
that
at
name.
Yeah.
indeed.
Thinking
I
about it.
think it was a wink, wink, nudge, nudge. My question is why?
Welcome.
Is she politicking to keep him in line? Oh, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
That
It's a
that's
weird
it's,
plot
and you
point.
have to think about that aspect as
Yeah,
well.
you
Like,
could be
what was
correct.
her motivation
Yeah.
for doing that? Because it was I don't think there was any coaxing anywhere. Clearly he
Carl,
likes
I'm not
her,
saying
but
that
he wasn't asking for it.
Japan's. I'm not saying that Japan's isn't correct. I just thought he had some other weird word for it, like Japan Archipelago.
Yeah, he said
or
Japanese. Either the Japanese.
Japanese,
said.
or
That's
I
seriously
have
what
to
he
go back
said.
and rewatch episode 1 and I'll know.
Yeah. But it
That
just,
may
he's
be-
trying to get there.
Now that may be correct by our terms, but they certainly don't call themselves and have never called themselves the Japans. Now you're just being ignorant. Stop it.
Well, okay, and also like I don't need to draw the map again. That again, do I?
Yeah.
Do I draw it? Do I need to
Justin did
fucking
a-
draw the map.
Justin
The
did
map-
an
the map
amazing
last
map
night was
last night.
epic.
Justin, do you have a
Yes.
sextant?
What's that?
Do you have a sextant?
What's
Oh,
the
hey,
sex-
Coven, how are you?
Coven of
Hi.
Heads.
It
Hello.
sounded
nice
like
to
you just
see
said,
you.
Justin, do you have a sex tape? I was like,
A
well, that's
sextant.
tough. I was like, this took a turn.
It's like a
I edited
triangle
it.
thing.
I edited it.
It's a
It's a
triangle
long
thing.
version. Yeah, no, I
Once
don't
I
know.
use-
I don't know what you're asking me.
My dad actually,
yes,
it's funny.
Carl.
It's funny because my father is or my late father was a pilot. Like it's called like in sailing, he had his piloting license, but it's for sailing. So it's interesting that even though you're a sailor, you are also you could be a pilot, like an air pilot. So they do call it that. So
Well,
that's what
yeah,
Angie
that-
means.
there was.
Carl,
they called him
that's
a-
not news. I remember learning that in elementary school. That's not a hot take at all.
Oh, come on. Let Carl tell us stuff.
Absolutely not.
There you go. That's the world.
Poor Carl, we're
There's
picking
your
on him
world
tonight.
again.
There's the chart. There's
It's
here. Let me.
Japan, China, and don't fucking worry about it.
Here.
All right. Yeah. Don't fucking worry
It's
about
like
it.
that's sort of
Wait,
like,
Justin, put a link to the clip from
Oh,
last
is
yeah,
night.
it Yeetie? It's like
Yeah.
Yeetie.
Yee-tee.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because that's the first thing they have him do when he's like, I can do this, I can do that. Draw a map of the world, and they keep looking at those Portuguese, those like, you bastards, you lied, didn't you? Like,
Oh,
there's
you have a
nothing else.
sextant. Stephanie has a sextant. I like saying that.
I do edit video. If you're
Sextant.
in need of an editor for your
Like
sex tape, I can make it
sextaint.
longer if you need me to. Okay, we can make it work.
Yeah, this is a fun crowd. Jackie, are you still living in Japan? By the way, speaking of Japan.
Wait,
Just
we have
not-
somebody in actual Japan that we could be answering.
Well, Jackie was living in
Word?
Japan, I thought.
Not somebody that's on Wikipedia.
I did not know that. How have we
Well,
known
I
each
think
other
it
for
was
this
maybe,
long?
you know, I might
Jackie,
be
and I
confused.
didn't know
Maybe I'm
you
thinking
lived in
Linda
Japan.
R. Maybe I'm confused.
Linda
Maybe
R.
it's Linda R.
She's Linda R. is part Japanese. She doesn't. live
Yeah.
in
So,
Japan, though.
sorry, Jackie. Maybe I'm confusing. Okay, don't mind me.
Yeah, I was in a car with her once. That makes me pretty much Japanese. And
You were in a car with Linda R.
yeah. She's not.
I
yeah.
just made a rhyme there. Did you notice that?
There you go.
Okay,
people.
so all right, so I pushed aside, you know, what Tanya was saying about the battle, or I don't. It's not even a battle. Okay, let's talk. Should we talk about Toranaga's son, which I don't know his name. I think his name. Maybe his name is Yoshi as well.
Decision.
The most my note on that when it happened is this, you know, to keep monetization for Heidi. This boy, this effing little boy, dude. And also, I hate him. I don't like him. I want to smack the shit out of him. But I gotta give Omi his props because he's playing the field and you know, sowing the odes of discord.
Yeah,
And he played that little boy for the little boy that he is. The worst thing that could have happened with John coming in, you know, with the swords and Uncle Asshole saying, "Oh damn, now we have swords. Talk about a bad omen." And then look what happens just 2 minutes later.
Yeah, so I agree with Alicia. I think what you're saying is, so like there's nothing more dangerous than like a poser trying to prove they're tough. Like somebody that that's the most dangerous person in the world. Like that ends up like, you know, like somebody that thinks they need because they feel inadequate and nobody respects them. Those are the people to fear because like they are just like the people that are usually going to go overboard. And I think that's what's happened here. Like he is, it's not the smart thing to do. It's not the right thing to do, but he's sick of everybody saying that he's a little punk. So he's going to go prove some people wrong. And thus he
proves himself to be a little bitch made boy punk because now you look like even more of a bigger entitled rich brat that is extremely spoiled and looking to impress your daddy when your dad didn't ask you for all that. He gave you orders, just like the idiot in the beginning. He gave you orders. You had one job and you screwed it up.
Should have killed him. Yeah.
What the hell did Miss Minutes just clip Heidi out of? Oh no, she's just
Miss Minutes.
Yeah,
yeah,
I blame Miss Minutes for everything that goes wrong in the technicals nowadays.
Well,
she bothers me that
while
much.
I'm on
technical
StreamYard.
difficulties, but no, she'll be here. So it's Canada. Santa Claus is probably flying above or something, you know, interrupting the service. So like, you know how that goes. I'm not trying to be rude. That's Canada. There's 7 people that live there. She's one of them. It's fine.
And yeah, I agree. What Karen is saying here. Yeah, it's dumb to pick that fight, but also thank you for moving the story along. I mean, fair enough.
Yeah. So what happens because of this? So like he has now caused war.
Yes, he started
and made
a
it
war
even
now.
harder for his father now.
Yeah, because his father was trying to buy time, and he was out there, and he's like, "I'm gonna get this shit going, Dad." You know what I mean? Like his dad is like, "No, idiot."
And like he killed a messenger.
Right, exactly.
I feel like
you killed a messenger and the whole platoon of messengers that was with him. In every culture,
that's against the rules.
That's against the rules.
Yeah, because then I'm like, well, I'll send my messenger to see if this is okay, and then
That's
he doesn't
why
come
we
back. I'm like, I don't know what's happening here. Yeah,
that's why we have the Western saying of "Don't shoot the messenger." It's literally the rules.
Unless he's a dick, then just shoot his ass.
I mean, this messenger wasn't a dick though.
No, I know.
Doing his job. I got no beef with him.
And they hit him with a big old ball that like knocked his arm off first.
He hit all of them with like back-to-back cannons in each shot.
They were just exploding.
Whoever didn't have limbs blown off, their whole body was just blown apart.
Yeah.
Like, dude,
imagine a cannonball going through your stomach. You know,
it's so
I cannot.
bad.
I am not Homer Simpson. I can't. Nope.
The Civil War, like the Civil War,
there's no bounce back.
Like that was seriously like if you look at Napoleon's wars with grape shot and stuff like that, that's really vicious. But those balls really just dismembered people. You could sadly still be alive. You wouldn't want to be because some guy would be, you know, giving you a little bit of whiskey and sawing your arm off with a nasty saw. But yeah, it was vicious. Like they did show that again. Like another, I need to look at who these directors are because that director who was doing the 3rd episode, like that dude didn't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, I'm glad they showed it, honestly.
Yeah, because that shit would suck.
For something like this, you know, a historical film like this, you have to show the true brutality of what happened in these moments. So I'm glad they put it in, but also again, little boy. This is why your daddy told you to just sit there and supervise, okay? He thought enough of you to put you in charge of this and to have you oversee it. But you still want to sit here in your entitlement and boo-hoo whiny that daddy all of his colleagues think that you're a little pussy bitch. Well, you just proved them right, though. You let your ego take over. That's the problem.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's what I'm saying. Like these punks are the people that you have to be like afraid of. Like always the person trying to prove themselves, because somebody that is secure with themselves doesn't act like that. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And yes, Carl, on those
once you've killed one or two people, Carl, like you don't need to prove that you've done it. It's just something that happened, and you know when to do it, and know not to. I mean, you enjoy doing it. Don't get me wrong, but you don't be doing it every other day.
If you have to tell people you're a king, you're not a king.
Exactly. Yeah,
oh, that's cool, Sarah. Sarah says, I used to live in Japan, but I'm half Filipino, but collect kimono and help people learn to wear kimono.
Nice.
One of the things that was really fun when I had Carlos on is he was talking about how they had to train the Canadian team to wardrobe, like to, dress everybody, all the cast in the show. And, but a lot of them are Japanese Canadians living in Vancouver. But he said by the time they were said and done, Carl, you'll appreciate this, that the Canadian team were as good as the Japanese team. And I said, it's because of the maple syrup.
First step, Heidi. First step, take off your mittens, right? Take off your mittens. You can't get a good grip with those mittens on. Get those off. Like, I wear mittens. I wear mittens.
He was saying, I was actually surprised because I didn't realize this. They shot it over the winter. Like when you're watching the show, there's a lot of there's scenes where there's snow and rain. It's pretty chilly, right? And I said to him, the cast must have got at some point they must have gotten really hot wearing their costumes, because some of them, especially Mariko, are wearing multiple layers. And he says, no, actually they appreciated it because it got really cold. So they started filming, I think, in September, and they went all the way through till May. So they shot over the winter in those outfits.
Where did they shoot it? Did they shoot it
in Vancouver?
Oh, yeah, the Japan of the West.
Japans.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
It apparently it's like I think. I mean, they're on the other side of the ocean from each other. So I mean, at one point they used to be one continent, and they broke away, I guess. So
well, if you get a map and you fold it, there's the same.
Yeah.
Thing. You just do that. It's good.
It's the same with like Newfoundland. Yeah. Newfoundland is very similar to Ireland. It's very, very close. Ireland, Scotland.
Yeah. It's like, how long is it going to take to get there and then get a different map?
Yeah. So anyway, so I thought that was really interesting.
So the director that did this episode 3 that we're all cast-sizing here, he did Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, which wasn't great. The Outsider, The Witcher, which had some decent action in it, to be fair. Wow, they do have experience in because the Continental. I'm assuming there's action in that. It's a John Wick film. Let's see what season of
isn't that the spinoff?
Yeah, the show.
About the hotel, but I thought they're about,
never watched it.
Refreshing towels. You know what I mean? I bet they're
Chiron. So they did it before the strike. So what had happened was there was a delay. So it was supposed to originally come out in 2023. But because of the strike, they had to delay it. And so that's why it had the 2024 release. Because I think originally it was supposed to be within 2023. I don't know about the other countries. I only know based on the 2 interviews I've done that it was shot in Vancouver.
Do you think they had one extra that they duplicated a bunch of time with AI and they had to stop?
They did do some digital, but Carlos said that they did have on some days as many as 400 to 500 extras. So they did have to outfit many background players in armor, and like that scene that we saw in episode 4 when they arrive in the village, the fishing village. There were all those extras there. So they had to, he said it took like 45 minutes to dress everybody in those outfits.
And they might be in a movie 20 years from now that they don't know about. You know
it's not the worst thing. I liked it.
It wasn't good. It wasn't good.
Oh, I thought it was decent enough.
It wasn't good, but I'm not going to ruin my life over it. I'm like, oh my God. You know what I mean? It just wasn't good.
No, I know. Yeah, exactly. I guess that's sort of how I feel about it.
Yeah, you can't dictate how you live your life by these. I mean, I know that's kind of like contradiction for me because stories are really important, but you got to learn to let go at the same time. You can't get in that hateful, people are still making videos.
So you guys are not impressed by the son then, I gather.
No,
I think he made a grave mistake.
No, a huge mistake. So your father will hear about this. Good. I want him to know, little boy. Mm-hmm. Okay, this is absurd. You are ruining everything.
But he would have had a bunch of help because he had to put those cannons in the woods and
That's what I was
stuff.
going to say. So Blackthorne could be like, not to be a dick. I know it's a bad moment, but I did teach you. Like, did you see how good those shots were? Like, they did learn. So I'm
Yeah, and also, like, I mean, sure, maybe they had to sort of follow what he said, but at some point, like, one of the advisors could say, "This isn't a good idea."
Yeah, who follows that kid? Like, who's because he doesn't.
The men that men that they were told to follow him by his dad.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was a big mistake by that dad. Then. Yeah, I didn't notice that. So what? He did get like actual command over those guys. Like we saw that.
But at the same time, I mean,
he said that when he left.
Agent Zero left
not
on
saying
his
you're lying,
own,
Alicia, I just wanted to.
Agent Zero left his son alone without any kind of like. So in a way, it's the father's fault because if he knows his son is like a bit of a loose, I mean, he hasn't really showed himself being a loose cannon up to this point, though, because that's like a play on words, by the way, because that scene when the other samurai stands up with his and is about to draw his sword, and he's like, "Oh my God, what are you doing?" He seems to know not to do anything like that. So, but I feel like he is being a bit of a Joffrey, like he is trying to say, "Hey, look, I'm going to show my dad how awesome I am."
If your boss is out of the office for 2 hours,
the other guy
he needed to be sent to bed.
Yeah.
What's that?
The other guy was kind of revving him up too.
Mm-hmm.
That was That's why. Did y'all notice when it went down and the camera panned over to Uncle Butthole and Omi was standing right there behind him and he's the only one smiling in that scene?
I like how she goes, "It is war" at the end. I go, "No shit, no fucking shit." You know what I mean? Like, great reveal. I get it. Yeah, I don't need to speak.
And again, she was
Japanese.
also right for holding John back in that moment too. He's like, "Oh, I could stop him." Do not sully your hands with that blood. Let the blame be on that kid and that kid alone.
I think I could beat them all. I've got it. Yeah, he doesn't know. He's ruled the world. But yeah, if your boss leaves office for 2 hours and the sun.
Oh, is that the son's name? I forgot. And
Naga. You might want to check. You might want to get an email going and be like, "Yeah, I don't know about this."
Yeah, he absolutely did this on his own.
Yeah, Dad's gone. Let's kill everybody.
They're hitting targets because of Blackthorne's technique in math and sextant. Or are the English cannons really just that better? He says they're better than what the Portuguese.
Are they English cannons?
Okay, so here's something for
cannons.
you. Dutch? Okay. Yeah, well, okay, yeah, they are Dutch, yeah. So also, Carl, why don't you be useful here and find out if the Portuguese were skilled with cannons? Because why
would you even speak that into the
ether? Well, we do something useful. I actually want to know. I want to know about that. I want to know because like the Portuguese supposedly were not good with them. That might be true. That's interesting.
So are you calling Carl a human computer?
Yes, I'm saying Wikipedia.
He's like a
I'm saying Jamie, look it up. I'm saying
he needs
Jamie,
to drink that liquid though, the spice liquid. He's a human computer.
I don't know. He might be pregnant. I don't want him to do that.
The memtat.
The mentat. Yeah, they have apparently they have like and it's funny because in the we're gonna do a rewatch on all of these, right? But in the David Lynch Dune, they have like they have it all around their lips because they've been drinking it.
Their lips blue.
Their lips blue, but in the show, in the movie, they just do a little black thing here. But so Tanya, that's the idea.
Can I ask Tanya something? You don't like the show, do you, Tanya? You don't seem to like the show, and that's a fair assessment.
She's a mom. She's exhausted.
She liked it in the beginning.
No, yeah, I like the show. I'm just like deliriously tired.
No, you're good. You're good. Because to be fair, I'm trying to decide if it still holds up. So like I'm trying to get some insight.
No, I do like it. I do like it.
Okay, Justin. Natural saying now you're being mean to Carl.
Yeah, whatever. Whatever. I'm not. No, I'm being used. I'm giving him a purpose. Okay. All right. I'm giving him a title, just like what's his name in the show. It's all through line here. No, I was just asking because I mean the show. It's very beautiful and all that, but it's like, is it holding up? There are some questions after these last 2 episodes. Like there's some questionable decisions and stuff like that. So I really was excited the first 2 episodes. I'm not as excited now, but I think that these next 2 to 3 episodes are going to really bring it home or not. Well, and first off, it's not supposed to have a second season either. So I like that. I'm asking Tanya because I like to hear when people. I'm usually the most negative person on streams. That's why I don't make videos. Like I don't make videos anymore because I'm like the guy that's always like this. Like I loved Westworld, but then I
Justin's not mean to me, are you, Justin?
I'm always like Westworld is shit now. Like I was always that guy, so I don't do it. So I appreciate it.
You know what though? I think we've determined yesterday that Westworld was just basically a warm up for that new show that he's doing. It's a warm up. He just used Westworld as a way to, you know what though? Imagine being the second son. It must be really, really difficult.
Yeah, and your
right?
brother's born in Europe, and you're like born in Chicago. You know what I mean?
How did that happen? Are they have different like mothers or
No,
something?
no, there's yeah, maybe, I don't know.
Like their last name's Nolan, so they must have the same daddy.
Yeah.
So or maybe it's like they got split as children, and one lives in America and one lives in England.
Yeah, I forget what happened. Well, he's quite a bit younger than
Yeah.
Chris. But no, but
But
I think
imagine
that,
having an older brother who's probably next to is probably the most successful director in the West, right, of all time. And then you're like, okay, I'm going to try and do a show for HBO, and then you
And
know,
then it flops.
how are you going to tell the
then
story?
you
do this.
You're going to say a linear storyline. He goes, no, not my brother doesn't. So I'm
But
going to make it all
I'm-
messed up.
but I have to say, like, by the way, is Lisa Joy involved in that
Probably.
show?
Yeah, I have more
Is my-
faith in Lisa Joy than Jonah, but yeah, I think she is.
Well, and they did that other show that I thought was pretty good. The one that Michelle Clapton did the costume.
Westworld
for.
was just something that was great for the first two seasons, actually only the first, but then it was just, you can't go deeper into that. Once they get out of the park, it stops becoming interesting. And they just got into that whole thing of trying to trick the audience. It was like, oh, let's fight Reddit, pretty much. You know what I mean?
I find like I'm watching a show right now called Constellation, and I find it's one of those shows. It's like a puzzle box show, right? I think this is what happens. But sometimes with puzzle box shows, you have to. It just becomes like it gets kind of like it thinks it's smarter than it is, and it's like it doesn't trust the audience maybe too much. And I just find that is yeah. Oh, does he write for his brother?
Yeah, he does. He wrote. Was it Inception? He wrote one of the, or it might have been Interstellar actually that he wrote.
Okay. That's
that
one
was
of my
supposed to be-
least favorites. So
Yeah.
of his work.
I mean, they just did great stuff, but I'm saying like I stopped doing videos because like I stopped feeling like, because at one point you're like, you just gotta like praise shit for no reason. I felt, you know.
Yeah,
like,
I
just hated
think
doing that.
I think the new show. Sorry, what's it called again, Alicia?
Fallout.
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 I
Oh
think-
yeah.
I think it's a perfect show for him because first of all, I know he's a huge gamer.
Yeah,
He loves gaming, and he used gaming as an influence for Westworld.
Skyrim,
So-
Bethesda made as well.
I think that so I think it looks amazing.
Does
Yeah.
And-
Tanya, I'm really hoping that you guys are going to
Yeah.
watch that because I'm definitely going to be talking about it with me.
I've never
But
even
you
heard of it.
It's
And
a
the
double-edged
actor,
sword.
the male actor who's in it, the one who's missing his
Walter
nose.
Goggins. Walter Goggins.
Is he not in Westworld as well? He's one of those
Yes.
character
No,
actors?
he's not. No, he's not. He's in the Shield. He's in
Oh,
Sons
okay.
of Anarchy. He's in
Greetings, Purple Cat.
But what the thing that comes with Fallout really quick is that it's so loved by people like me and like the people that are fans of the game. That's a double-edged
It's a great
sword.
game.
People are gonna be so
Silver Scale.
hard on it.
Oh my god! I don't know what's going on tonight. This must be like I don't know.
What?
Silver Scale. He's totally kidding. He's totally kidding. Okay.
Nah, he texted me. He said he was serious. He told me. I got you, AU. You're my boy. I love AU. He said Justin, yeah, I'm being
No, we
serious.
haven't talked about the dog in Fallout. I don't know. No, I think I was just asking if Lisa Joy is involved in Fallout.
I'm
but I
looking
don't
right
think
now. I mean, they do.
He's
I mean,
involved in Peripheral, though. I think.
yeah, which I heard is pretty good. Again, it's just when knowing to stop.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's the thing, and
Yeah,
that's
I
hard
totally
to do
agree.
because
AU's laughing. Okay, maybe they know each other.
yeah.
Kind of can't deal with stream tonight, to be honest. Okay, I don't know what is happening. Okay, I want us all to be friends. Let's just all be friends, all right, everyone? I don't know what's happening. Alicia, help me here.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Let's see upcoming projects. Yeah, she's
Let's
part of
see.
Fallout.
So-
Executive producer.
I will pose one question then. Once
Okay.
we get to the next episode, what do you think will happen to this young little dumbass that doesn't know how to just do the job his dad gave him to do?
Sepulchre.
That should be. I mean, clearly, if
That
walking
it should
past
be.
the line,
It
yeah.
honestly should be. Actually, no, he shouldn't even get that honor. What he did was dirty and stupid and foul.
I mean, clearly, this is the catalyst to launch Toranaga.
That would be he must have multiple heirs, though. Like, I mean, that's just the eldest son, I'm assuming. How many
Yeah, but
wives does he have?
Well, that's a plot point. He has sent out 6 engagement requests to other because again, this is tribalistic warfare here.
But
We're
were
talking
they
about
for him?
Yeah,
Yes.
were they?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, it's
For
stated at the beginning.
for him to have
Yes.
Well, no, I knew that they were talking about the marriages, but they didn't say who the marriages were.
From my understanding, from what I've read explicitly, I'm pretty confident on this one. And I'm just saying it because it seems to be the fact. That's what put him in suspicion at the
Thanks,
beginning.
Silver Scale.
Was
Okay.
him sending all these, him being
So
on
he was
ShogunOnly.com.
gathering wives.
Yeah, he was hitting those DMs and the Shogun.
Well, like the one we know, the
Okay.
one wife, she's the one who, like, you know, she's part of the ruse when, you know, she comes out. She's kind of she comes out of the house and she's like, "Oh, sorry guys, I'm running a little late here." Like that's his main wife. Like I don't know about if he has multiple wives. I haven't.
I wondered after that, like, okay, they didn't know that he was trying to escape. Obviously, they did a switcheroo. But like, what happens to her now that they know she was part of this plot?
He's gonna need another wife.
Because like she just kind of went back to the house. It was like, back.
Yeah.
You
That's
know what I
good.
mean? Like what happens now?
yeah.
Because obviously she I mean nobody knew, but she knew and helped him escape. And then
unclear
she
of the
just goes
power
back to the palace and like
Can they harm her? I don't know.
If she's able to keep her cover, then she's probably fine.
but I mean they saw her go in and obviously she didn't stay in because I don't know how to say his name, Toranaga. Because they now know he escaped and was, smuggled out. But
AU, sorry, the Shogun's wife, the old emperor's wife is she's much younger. He's got a younger bride.
Yeah, he was an emperor. Okay.
The old man who dies, his wife is the younger woman. So whereas Toranaga's wife, at least the main wife, I don't know how many wives he has, the one who's the mother of his son is actually she's the one who goes into the, like, what do they call it again? It's like a little like box that they go inside of and she's hiding in there, and then it's got handles and then they carry it, and then they do the switcheroo there.
Yeah, I don't know what it's
I don't
called. A
remember what
wife
that's
basket, probably something.
No, we had a name for it. Oh no, wait, maybe it was when I was talking to David. That's why you guys don't know what it's called.
Okay, so let's set out that he quit the council, right? So like she would no longer be. I would assume his whole family.
A taxi.
Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you, AU. What would I do without you? It's like, in Dune when
Jessica.
When Jessica gets into that thing and then they put her on the worm, and we were like, we don't even know how they get all those people on the worm. Somehow they do. It's one of those things you don't need to question. And then how they all get off the worm, and when they arrive in the south. What's that?
Happens off screen. Mind your business.
It happens off screen. A palanquin. Thank you so much. Palanquin. That's it. Thank you. David had the right spelling. Yeah. So when she gets into the palanquin and then they do the switcheroo, that's
Hey, Brian.
Hi. Hi. How are you?
Isn't your husband a DJ?
The best DJ in the realm.
I'm not a DJ anymore, so I'm going to say it is true. It is true.
Yeah, we were talking about Mariko's son because they don't mention him at all. Like, so it is sort of weird that.
I was muted. Sorry. Yes.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
It is weird that with Ishido and the Greys or whatever they're called, would they go in and just like kill everybody? Well, now that there is war, it's I think anything.
That's what I mean.
Cassie.
Let's be fair, we're all pretty confused about, like, I'm not trying to be a dick. Like, that's why I was asking Tanya. I was hoping that
Thank you.
because I've got some confusion here. Like, I'm loving the show, but I'm also kind of confused about what the hell's going on. Like,
Yeah, I
difficult
definitely have
fucking
had I definitely had some confusion, and I feel like I would need to rewatch episodes in order to
Hi, Cassie.
untangle some things.
Yeah.
But I am enjoying it, and I do want to keep.
Me
watching
too.
it.
Yeah. That's
Same.
why I was crying. Yeah, it's like it's still it's like, what is, like, we would know if that was Game of Thrones.
That's possible.
We would know like what the consequences of these actions, and it's a cultural thing. So like, but it's so many things are unclear. You know what I mean about this culture. So maybe they could have spent some time. Like, shouldn't that be a part of the stakes for what he's doing? Shouldn't we be worried about these people? Right.
Well, yeah, and to your point, we are worried about these people.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying as a mom, like it's weird that like, I'm just trying to imagine myself. My husband gets killed, even if I'm not into him at all.
Yeah, even if
No
he
longer.
sucks.
And he's mean and he's mean to our child. But it's weird that they didn't decide to have any kind of like, they said, I think it was John who said to her, I'm sorry, for your loss kind of thing. And but it was weird that there was no mention of the son and where he is and where how he's doing and all that kind of thing, and if there a way for them to check. So I mean, they're going to have to do something in the next episode, I think, to let us know.
Yeah.
Well,
Fingers crossed.
she did say that when the engine asks her what would happen if they were found out, and she's like, well, all of us would be killed. Even though they had nothing to do with the plot. So I think it could be assumed that her son might be killed too.
Yeah, that's
even
a good
though
point.
he had nothing to do with the plot because
That's
he's just
insight,
part of
that.
that.
No, for sure he would be.
Fair point.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I missed that. There's some
we
stakes there. They've given us an example there. Thank you. Like of what.
Yeah,
would
we
happen.
determined that like for sure early on that it's kind of like the I don't want to use a present day example right now, but the idea that collective punishment, the sins of the father is that you would still everyone
we
would be
saw in
killed.
the first episode. That's clearly something that happens here.
Yeah.
Poor baby.
If one of the troublemakers in your group does something, everybody's getting detention.
I just get so sensitive about babies.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, facts.
Yeah, let them grow up and make their own mistakes, you bastard.
Yeah.
High reflection.
Maybe it would be like a little bit like where they would sneak him out though, or maybe there's some kind of contingency where they would smuggle him out.
The woman who switched places with him, maybe maybe she set something up because nobody knew about the plan. It was very tightly kept secret.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
Like, why did you quit the council? It's because they're trying to kill me. Like, it's like, I'm clearly not going to be a part of that. It's like, oh, you quit the council? It's like, yeah, the council's literally trying to kill me.
Did y'all catch how he almost snitched on himself? Like, he went off into that little tower, like, what does that mean for all your friends and allies, all of your, all of us that are under you? They're going to look at us too. And then he stops. And he's like, oh, forgive my ridiculousness, please. I will commit seppuku. Yoshi, you should have let him.
Well,
you should have let him.
Again, it's that paper thin, these alliances. So like he knows he's. I mean, there's something to be said for like in
Yoshi's playing the game pretty well.
Yeah, because this is the problem with like society is that we do the great other for wars, right? Like this is the reason that we do that because like it's bad too, but the other answer is this, and like they have this close knit relationship with all of them, but they're fighting within each other, and they don't have Korea right now, right? For some reason, they're not fighting Korea this decade, so they're fighting each other, right? You know what I mean? Like, so it's like this alliance isn't really like he's like, oh, you should kill yourself, he's like, but this whole thing is paper thin. This whole council is paper thin. You know what I mean? Like, who's really in charge? The emperor, even when he was alive, wasn't really in charge. So,
Yeah, Natural says Mariko's father-in-law is also stay behind. He's, we were calling him the Hand of the King, the twirly whirly mustache guy. And so yeah, he is also there. So I'm assuming that they have a plan B. Because they know they're in serious danger.
Yeah, because so they must have brings them with him, right? Like
Hiromatsu.
Yeah, sorry, but like when he quits the council, that means his alliances. They need to make it clear if they're with him or without him. You know what I mean? Because it puts you. It's
that's why he gets summoned back to Osaka.
Yeah, it's like Italy when Germany kept invading places. Like we're with them. You know what I mean? We're sticking with them. Like you got to make a decision. So, and I think he's pushing people to do that. That's kind of smart. He's making people make decisions, not this vague council bullshit that's trying to kill me every day. I'm not going to meeting with those dicks. You know what I mean? It's like the council's just something we speak about. It's not real. It's not a tangible alliance. So like he's pushing people to make decisions, and his son is really pushing people to make decisions.
Such an idiot.
He's an idiot.
Anyway, so I was thinking maybe we should wrap up. Poor Tanya. She's had like a seriously long day.
Get Tanya to bed.
And so anyway, well, why don't we just go around? Any final thoughts? Anything you're looking forward to seeing in the next episode? Like what do you think, Tanya? What are your you've just discovered the show? Did you, by the way, Tanya, did you binge watch it or did you watch it like one
I found out about it after the second episode was out.
Oh,
So I
okay.
watched the
Okay.
first two. Actually, I found out about it because you posted about talking about the first two episodes.
Oh,
And I
okay.
was like, oh, what's this? And I went and I
I've
watched
been bugging
them.
everybody. I'm like,
Yeah.
you watching Shogun? You watching Shogun? You watching Shogun?
Yeah, so that's how I found
Heidi
out
is the
about it,
Raven.
and it sounded interesting. So I watched those first two episodes, and then I
Mhm.
completely forgot to jump and watch your stream. But sorry.
Yeah, Carlos was saying to me during our interview, the costume designer, he said, "Oh yeah, Heidi, you were like bugging me like a year ago."
And this is to Tony's point, what I told
Yeah.
Heidi
I was
before
like,
we started.
Oh, Carlos, are you doing Shogun? Can we talk
Heidi
about Shogun?
plans things out like weeks and months in advance to
I
have
have to, I'm
people
a mom.
on here. And I'm
Yeah.
not knocking you for it. We just thought it was something funny because we do love that about you.
Yeah,
Just
actually, I was
so you
thinking of
know.
doing up the House of the Dragon schedule in the next few weeks to start.
But that's how Tony's always. Tony's a great guy. Tony will always be there for you, but Tony
Oh.
doesn't. From my experience, he doesn't like making plans. He'll be
yeah,
there.
yeah,
But yeah.
future
Yes.
planning is
Yeah.
not
Well,
his
no, I
aesthetic,
said to
yeah.
him, I said, "Oh, I saw you," because like I came up on my channel or I came up
Yeah.
on my feed. Like Tony did a review of Shogun. Shogun. I'm like, "Oh my god, Tony, you're doing Shogun. Do you want to come and talk about Shogun with me?" And so he said, "Sure." And then he said, "Just remind me like the day before."
Yep.
But but yeah, I just want to make sure I have everything covered, kind of thing.
A fun little story, really quick, is the
Yeah.
first time Tony came on my channel like 5 years ago. I
Mhm.
didn't know Tony. Tony was a much bigger content creator than I was, and I didn't believe he was coming because of his. He's like, "Yeah, I'll come on," and then I didn't hear from him, and then he showed up
Nah.
like
Thanks,
a bro.
Overscale.
Yeah, like the dude. Yeah,
If Tone
yeah.
tells you he's gonna show up, he's
But
gonna
I
show
didn't
up.
even know him back then. Is my
Yeah.
point. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Silver Scale, just to let you know, I wasn't able to do it live, unfortunately, just the way it was with Disney. So I had to record it and then upload it. So I recorded it on Tuesday and then uploaded it kind of right after, like just about a couple hours later.
Because of Disney rules. This is how awesome Heidi is.
I was uploading.
Well, I don't know. I was
saw that you said
pestering
you were
Carlos so
recording.
much that he was like, "You have to talk to these people." But anyway, all right. So yeah. So any final thoughts on the show? Anyone?
I have zero predictions. I'm still untangling.
I have zero predictions to it. There's a bunch of breadcrumbs and a bunch of puzzle pieces. I have not figured out how everything is going to fit together yet, but I am looking forward to continuing the journey.
Yeah, I'd second that. I'd say why, how come, and good about this show. Those are my thoughts right there. Good.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
Definitive. No, it's hopefully I think it's an exciting project. So it's a
Do you
lot
think
of
we'll
money.
find out who won the swimming competition there?
I think so. I think that's the end, Heidi. I think that's going to be the big reveal.
I think
We won't know till the last
Blackthorne won it.
episode.
I think
Those poor
Blackthorne definitely
horses.
won.
Yeah, I still haven't gotten over Game of Thrones when who was it cut his horse
The
in half.
mountain.
Oh,
The mountain.
Yeah,
So awful.
That is such a
what a
bad
dick.
deal.
Sandor Clegane.
Yeah,
Not
No,
Sandor,
it
the
wasn't
one.
Sand. It was the mountain.
Gregor.
not
Actually, the
Sandor. It was
mountain. Yeah,
Gregor.
sorry.
Yeah, Gregor.
There were
Yeah.
2 horses that were cut in half, I think, in that show.
there was and then the battle.
Were
Like,
there?
there's a lot of horses. that got
Yeah,
killed.
with Danny, with the they had to do for she worked with that witch
Yeah.
or whatever.
Oh yeah. That's right. The spell. They took the horse's heart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Khal Drogo kept like drinking booze and putting like dirt in his wound that he got him on purpose. And she's like, "Oh, you killed him." Like, no, he's probably an idiot. Like, he got cut on purpose.
Like, that was definitely a staph infection.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Exactly.
All he did was
She
drink
told
directly
you-
in the sun. It's not a witch.
She said, "Don't drink. Do not
Yeah.
take off the medicinals that I just put on your wound."
Yeah.
And what does he do 2 seconds later?
Drank and put horse shit on it. It was like,
Come
what?
on, Drago.
yeah, Drogo is not bright. Good fighter though.
Idiot.
Yeah, good guy.
Okay. So anyone else thoughts? Do you want to we'll just go around and everyone can say where they can find you? Does that sound good?
Sure. Yeah, Tanya, kick it off.
Tanya, you go first.
You can find me here with Nikki for 1,000 Eyes and One podcast. Tomorrow night, we're talking about the finale for Avatar: The Last Airbender at 8:00 tomorrow night. We also have a book club, Wine on an Empty Stomach, that we do here as well, and our show 30 Tuesday, which we kind of just talk about whatever. Heidi, you're gonna have to come and join us for
I
some
love
Tuesday
that.
for 30 Tuesday, and it can be anything, any book, any
Absolute
show.
fact.
It's just fun. We just drink and talk shit.
I love it. I'd love to come.
Yeah, so you can find us here, and if you want to find episodes of ours, you can go to thousandeyespodcast.com.
And
Tanya's one of the
hopefully
few
when
people
we
that I
do
was
House of the
excited about.
Dragon,
Oh,
Tanya,
thank you.
I can book
Yeah.
you in. I'm going to probably message
Oh, yeah,
everyone
we're
next
definitely
week.
going to do House of the Dragon. Absolutely.
How many episodes are there for that? Does anyone know?
I don't know.
I'm thinking 10, but I could be misremembering that.
I hope it's 10. I really hope
I
it
hope
is.
so too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Justin? Tell us more about you. I know you didn't want to
This
last
is
time.
me,
But
and I'm at don't fucking worry about it. You can't find
What
me.
the-
You'll never find me. And that's about
if
it.
you watched the stream last
I-
night, you know what that means.
Justin's anyway, don't listen to him. I have his links in the description below. And also Tanya's and also Alicia's. Alicia, what about you?
Yes, I do believe on Friday I will also be hanging with Tanya and Nikki for Avatar. That's going to be a great discussion. I think it's the finale episode,
Is it good?
and yes, I've been enjoying it. Monday, I believe Meeks and I will be back. We're going to do Halo season 1, episode 1.
Mm-hmm.
Tuesday, I will be on with the boys on DJ11's channel with Fandom. I believe we're going to be talking about episodes 1 to 3 of The Bad Batch season 1. Then Wednesday, it'll be me and Meeks again, and we'll be covering Shogun episode 2. And I believe that Thursday, I'll be on with Heidi and Tony on Heidi's channel talking about Shogun episode 5. And Friday is Jackbox game night on Citadel Trivia. So I actually got a full week coming up next week, and it's going to be
crazy. Yeah. And I have just so everyone knows, Justin's been working really hard for me. I have a Dune video out. It's probably one of my most successful videos in like a long time, right, Justin? And so we're talking about maybe watching the series, watching the what channel was the series on Sci-Fi?
I already started.
What channel was it on?
I had to pirate it. HD1smovies.com. I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't,
I
don't know.
I want to do, like I was talking to Justin about this. I'd love to do either a review of the David Lynch movie or a comparison of the David Lynch movie to the Denis Villeneuve movie.
Didn't we talk about that last night?
Denis Villeneuve, by the way, is from Quebec.
Yeah. He hates dialogue. He's like,
Tanya, I'm saying that because I got someone gave me a hard time because I said Denis Villeneuve, Quebec director, and someone said, "Why are you saying he's a Quebec director?" And I'm like, I don't know, because I'm from Quebec. I'm Canadian from Quebec.
So is he,
and so is he. So I don't know. And then he kept coming back at me about it, and I said, who the fuck cares? Like whoever, whatever. He's Quebecer.
Yeah. What is he? The fucking what is it called? The census? Is that the census?
I don't know. He was saying that he thought it would be like comparing, like saying that Steven Spielberg is from Missouri.
He is.
And you know what? Honestly, if I was from Missouri, I'd probably say that he was a Missouri director.
Yeah. You know those famous Missouri directors that there is. Yeah, but I'm obsessed with Dune now. Like Heidi got books years ago.
I haven't seen it yet. The second one.
Have you seen the first one?
Yeah,
it's on Netflix.
And I saw the old one too.
And what did you think of the old one?
I enjoyed it. It was
it's such
campy.
A cult classic.
We should do a video. We should do a stream on it.
We were talking about that last night. Yes, I definitely remember.
If Nikki's into it, that could be our 30 Tuesday.
Let's do it.
Yes.
I don't know if Nikki's into it. I'll ask her.
It's space. It's space Game of Thrones. I think
people
she could get it.
People go on about the garbage costumes, but I kind of like. They
are everything wrong that people say happened with that movie is correct, but we love it anyway.
It's campy, right? It's kind of campy.
Yeah,
and they make the bad guys gingers. Like that's
super
hilarious.
campy. And okay, wait. See, hold on. That's separation. That's not the same Dune. Well, the redheads as they were shown, that was in the sci-fi version of Dune.
No, but they're also gingers in the David Lynch Dune.
I don't remember.
Like one of them is Sting was not a redhead in that movie.
They
Yeah,
he
he's
was
just
he
a
was
lot of
He was
drugs.
still blonde. I thought he's kept his blonde.
they
hair.
well the other two for sure were gingers.
I think
they were
Stain's
like
hair
strawberry.
color-
They were strawberry blonde.
Yeah, Stain's
strawberry
hair
blonde.
color.
Yeah,
Like, if you want to get technical about
I'll
it,
give
was
you I'll give you
cocaine.
strawberry blonde. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, cocaine.
I'm gonna
would be
get a
his hair
color
color.
swatch.
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
I'm gonna go to my salon.
wait.
I'm gonna get a swatch, and I'm gonna
There-
say, "Listen, I'm looking for this particular color because I need to come back to something."
Stain, what color is
about
your
it."
hair right now? He's like cocaine.
Anyway, yeah,
there
we should
was
totally
there was
do
one
it.
more thing,
Yes.
Heidi, that we had talked about last night. Fallout when it
Yes.
starts coming out. I think we definitely should do a tag team on that, including like just talking about how the games run with the episodes too. So
Yeah, you know
Tanya,
what?
I'll give you all the deets off screen so you can be prepped for Fallout,
Absolutely.
'cause
I
it's
was
gonna be
going to
awesome.
say natural. I was thinking about the costumes the other day, and I think the issue is the budget. Like they probably had a very small budget compared to like prestige television nowadays.
Yeah.
It was
And
the Sci-Fi Network back when
The
Sci-Fi
Sci-Fi
was
Network,
hot
and
shit. They had the
the-
money.
they had money.
I said, back then they did. Nowadays they're kind of trash, but back then
Okay.
they could have done
So
better.
because I was looking at the design and it's super ambitious, but it's hard. Like when you don't have a lot of money to implement that, right?
Have you
So
looked up Denny Villeneuve's storyboards? I'm sorry, but like he started storyboarding this in like 8th grade. This is not a joke. Like when that movie came out.
no, he's been reading he's been reading the books.
Yeah,
I
like,
believe
but
that. Yeah, 'cause he's a fan of the
storyboard- there's
books.
Storyboarding, like literally, like actual like storyboarding for this movie since he was like in 8th grade.
Yeah. But
I would
okay.
also encourage everyone to watch the documentary on Jodorowsky's Dune, because
amazing.
that could have been very interesting if we
Yeah.
would have gotten it.
Yeah,
just been
I
listening to
love
it.
well, and you know that H.R. Giger was in that, right? He was involved in that project originally before he went on to do Alien, which is so cool. And I talked about that. Actually. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, we have lots of like, let's do it. It'll be so fun.
George Lucas never saw Dune. That's a fun fact. He never saw it. Wink.
Yeah, it's a great watch
Yeah.
for sure. Now I don't know if it used to be on Netflix. I think they took it off. I had to go find it.
Yeah, only the Fincher one is on Max. That's all you can get.
Do you ever see like the T-shirt that says "Kick a Ginger"? It's so mean.
Well, George says the bad guys are always ugly and the good guys are always handsome. So I made the good guys handsome, or the ugly, and the other way around, and the others are gingers. So the wall. So switch it up.
Okay, so I want to thank everyone for coming. Thanks so much, and like for spending time with us. This has been really fun. So we're gonna come back next week, as Alicia has talked about. We're gonna have Tony Teflon on. Justin, you're coming back, right?
I might watch the series for the first time. This is getting me being on these streams has got me interested.
Yeah, Tanya, you're always welcome to come back too if you want to come back and hang out with us.
Okay.
So let us know if you want to join us. More the merrier. Tony will probably, he'll have some things to say, I'm sure.
We know he will.
Okay, well, thanks everyone so much. Okay, have a lovely evening. Take care. Bye.
Nighty night.
Nighty night.
See you, Carl. See you.